If you've ever been ready to enjoy a rematch of last World Cup semifinal, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. We've made it to Thursday. We've got today and tomorrow, and then it's weekend time. We're going to go through some news here today. We've got some mixed arrows here ahead of the open. We'll see if we get a move higher here. Got some news on the Middle East front breaking here this morning. We're going to go through all of that here today, and then we're going to try and make some really good trades here today. Hope everyone's locked in and ready for a Thursday. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Thursday edition for July 9th, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. We're back here for another session together. We're going to have a good time today, and we are going to find some stuff to trade. Good to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Francis is going to be first here today. Good morning, Francis. Welcome back. Early bird gets the worm. Let's go. Derek, good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you again as well. Azrar, good morning. Welcome back. Crispy Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. Zach McCracken, good morning. And good morning to the Benzie gang. Nice to have you back. Billy, our human chat scanner, going off here today. Welcome back, Billy. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Wiss, likewise, good morning. Welcome back. Janie, it's always good to see you. Good morning. Welcome back. Lion Atlas, ready to get. Lion, I know you are excited for the game here today. In fact, my happy hour show, just because it's the summer, my happy hour show is actually going to kind of morph into a watch party for that game. So we'll see how that goes here today. Liam, good morning. Welcome back. HP Darkside Hemi, good morning. Welcome back. Sergeant Sexy, good morning. Welcome back. Peter, good morning. Welcome back. My fellow Costco friend. Love it. Jay, good morning. It's great to see you again. Welcome back. Katarina, hello, everyone from Cyprus. Let's go, Katarina, joining us from Cyprus. How's the view? How's the weather out there? Probably pretty good, I would guess. Thanks for joining us here today. It's probably afternoon for you. It's probably not morning. So good afternoon. Corey, good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Carlos, likewise. Good morning. Welcome back. Linda, good morning. Welcome back. Kelly, good morning. Welcome back. Kelly, even though you never tell us what to buy, my brother won't even tell me because it's too risky. I feel like I'm thankful you bring the news and talk about stocks and educate us. So there's an underlying key that we're trying to do here. The whole goal of the show, like we'll discuss positions and how we're trading it, but the whole goal of the show is to keep you informed, do so in the pre-market so that you're ready to go into the session. But we want you to feel confident in your own ability when we're not around. And I think that this is a huge departure from discords and chat rooms where you feel like you have to be glued and the guru tells you what to do. We don't want any of that. We want to build traders from the ground up here. We want your brother to be asking you what he thinks or what you think he should buy. So again, it's more of like a fundamental building block as opposed to, bolting on flashy pieces to a house or a car. That makes sense. Anyway, appreciate that you appreciate it. We're going to keep doing it. If you guys think that we're doing a good job, we're going to keep it up. And the other aspect of this is that we want to bring you actual interviews from people that are running these companies and involved. First-hand knowledge. That's one of the goals. But Kelly, I appreciate that. Dimebag, good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Richard Judge, good morning. Thank you for bringing the sunshine and the positivity, brother. We appreciate it. Just passing through, good morning. Cam, good morning. Unpopular Truth, good morning. Lance, good morning. Captain Cloudy, good morning. Maverick, good morning. Jim, good morning. And then Catherine says, it's hot. Thank you. Yes, it's 3 p.m. Yeah, so my buddy that lives in London yesterday, I was lamenting that it was like 90 degrees and super humid here. Was working out outside and it was just really, really hot again. And my buddy in London goes, yeah, it's hotter than that in my flat. I'm like, how do you even go to sleep? Like, I don't get it. Figure out AC. Figure it out. Drew, good morning. Welcome back. Graf, good morning. Welcome back. Robot to Trade, good morning. Welcome back. And Ed, good morning. Welcome back. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures mixed ahead of Thursday's open here. S&P futures higher by 0.21%. The Dow futures actually in the red, but very close to unchanged, down 0.04%. And they are up off of their morning lows. So we'll see if the Dow can actually go positive here and help out. The Nasdaq is leading the way higher, plus 0.74%. And we might as well check in on oil. Oil futures, they're higher by 0.71% as well. So higher across the board, although minimally. Dow is a little bit negative, but basically at unchanged. We'll see if that changes here, either at the open or shortly before the open. But now let's take a look at some cues from last session, as well as what we have going on here today. Materials, real estate, and financial stocks led most S&P 500 sectors lower on Wednesday, while information technology and energy shares bucked the trend to close higher as U.S. markets broadly fell. U.S. stock futures advanced on Thursday as the Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and S&P rose following Wednesday's mixed close. Again, Dow hanging on to red arrows, but only minimally. After President Trump declared that the Iran ceasefire was over, the U.S. military launched additional strikes on Iran aimed at weakening Tehran's ability to threaten commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran responded with strikes against U.S. bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Baghir Ghalibaf doubled down on claims about Tehran controlling the Strait of Hormuz and said that the U.S. still has not learned that, quote, bullying, end quote, and going back on commitments are no longer without consequences. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.56%, and the 2-year bond was at 4.19%. The CME Group's Fed Watch Tool projections show that the markets are pricing a 72.7% likelihood that the Federal Reserve leaves the current interest rates unchanged during the July meeting. Now, I've got several stocks in focus here for you today. The first one is going to be Levi. This is one of our earnings reports from yesterday. Levi Strauss, or ticker LEVI, tumbled 6.07% in the pre-market on Thursday, despite posting better than expected earnings for the second quarter and raising its fiscal year 2026 guidance. The next stock on our list is going to be Honeywell, ticker HON. It was 0.03% lower after raising its fiscal year 26 adjusted earnings guidance following a 1-for-2 reverse stock split. The next stock on our list is that's AZZ. It jumped 8.35% after it reported record quarterly sales in both segments and raised fiscal year 2027 guidance. The next stock on our list is Ionis Pharmaceuticals, and the ticker is IONS, IONS. It slipped 13.76% as its phase 3 cardio T-Transform trial of eplontersen in adults. I'm not even going to try this. With amyloid cardiomyopathy missed its primary endpoint. I'm sorry. The medical words are just insane. The next stock on our list here is going to be WD-40. The ticker is WDFC. It was unchanged as analysts expect it to report earnings of $156 per share on revenue of $172.79 million after the closing bell today. And those drug names, that's tough. That's tough. That one, the internet's not going to forget that, unfortunately. I don't know how I'm going to live that down, but we'll keep pushing here. Now, taking a look at the SPY chart, we're still in the same range that we've been in. Oh my gosh, the lag. What is going on? We're still kind of in the same range that we've been in here. The good news is that yesterday, although we traded down, we ended up holding 740, the 20-day moving average, and the 50-day moving average. And while we didn't technically print the 50-day moving average, we still moved down close enough to that for it to really be a test of that moving average. We certainly held the 20 and we certainly held 740. Now, as you can see, we're actually compressing with the trend line that is acting as resistance, very clear resistance. We've tested it 3 times and we can't get above it. We are compressing. So at some point here, we are going to end up breaking one of these sides, either the upside or the downside. My suspicion is that it's to the upside. And a lot of that has to do with the July seasonality here. And then also the upcoming earnings season that starts in 5 days now next week when we kick it off with JP Morgan. If we take a look inside at the SPY, here's one of the key things that I think we're going to need that's not necessarily visible from the daily chart. You'll notice that yesterday, when we rebounded here in late morning into the afternoon, we actually did not have the strength to recapture and close above the previous day low. So this area in here, now where I have my cursor right now is 745.78, but realistically, it's going to be the 745.5 to 746 level. That's going to be key. We've gapped above that here in the pre-market. That's a really good start. We actually traded back down towards it, held it, and then traded back up. Again, positive, but we want to see what happens when the market actually opens here. So 746 to 745.5, that should be a level. We'll see how the SPY ends up handling it here today. But then also just keep in mind, if we do trade up here, we're really looking at 750 again. I have the trend line here, really depends on how you draw your lines. I have the trend line here at 749.67 or 68, something like that. But realistically, we can call that 750. So I'd be looking for a push to 750, hopefully a move above there. And then if we move above it, that's one thing. Closing above it is another. So we'll see if we end up having the strength to do that. As far as downside levels go, obviously that 745.5 to 746 is going to be one, but then also 740 here. And we'll keep an eye and see if the 741.5, which is the 20-day moving average, ends up providing any support. Now let's take a look at some insights here from analysts. Today, it's going to be Wharton professor Jeremy Siegel. He maintains a constructive outlook on the U.S. economy and equities, viewing the recent labor data volatility as a mask over fundamentally healthy landscape. Rather than signaling a recession, softer headline payrolls simply indicate a pace, quote, far more consistent with a mature expansion, end quote. Crucially, for monetary policy, Siegel highlighted that easing energy and commodity prices alongside flattening rent growth are weakening the case for additional Federal Reserve tightening. He notes that the underlying inflation backdrop is improving, leading him to predict that the Fed will likely stay on hold for the rest of the year. For the stock market, Siegel sees impressive resilience beneath, quote, unusually violent, end quote, sector rotations driven by artificial intelligence speculation. He remains highly bullish on AI, framing it as, quote, fundamentally a productive story, not simply a cost-cutting story, end quote. In his view, early adopters are expanding and becoming more competitive, which will support long-run economic growth. Ultimately, Siegel concludes that with inflation pressures easing and steady labor demand, quote, the long-term investment case for equities remains firmly intact, end quote. So let me know, especially about the hikes there, or the interest rates, I would say. Are you in the camp that we get no more? Are you in the camp that we see a cut even? Or does it make sense for us to just kind of hold pat for the rest of the year here? Let me know what you think on that one. All right. Let's take a look at some of the news. One of the big stories here, or one of the, maybe not big story, but one of the big events here is actually going to be SK Hynix debuting. We're going to have that ADR debut tomorrow. It prices tonight. Story here, Micron versus SK Hynix. Futurum's Shea Ballure picks Micron over NVIDIA's biggest provider, citing the wonky Korean markets. Now, I'm curious to get the feelings here of the group. I know SK Hynix, it's the new memory name on the block. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of appetite for this. But looking through kind of the hype or the initial excitement, maybe we'll call it, I definitely would like to know which stock you folks like the most for long term. Now, I would be entirely unsurprised if you guys are all kind of Micron fans. I know that's stock's been really good to our group and has been really good this year. But let me know if SK Hynix kind of changes the calculus at all here. South Korean memory chip titan SK Hynix is making its Nasdaq debut, giving U.S. investors direct access to NVIDIA's top memory supplier. But despite the listing, Futurum Equity's chief market strategist Shea Ballure is sticking with domestic rival Micron Technology, ticker MU, citing structural instability in the Korean market as a major deterrent. SK Hynix is preparing to sell 17.79 million American Depository Receipts, or ADRs, this Friday under the ticker SKHY. This move unlocks a massive pure-play AI memory stock for Wall Street, giving investors an alternative to Micron. The demand for high-bandwidth memory, or HBM, has skyrocketed, heavily favoring SK Hynix. As Futurum CEO Daniel Newman noted on the Futurum Equities podcast, quote, SK is definitely NVIDIA's biggest provider and arguably its most strategic, end quote. This strategic positioning has fueled record-breaking profitability. Earlier on X, Ballure highlighted the company's financial momentum, noting, quote, SK Hynix is expected to hit a 91% DRAM gross margin in Q2, showing how extreme this memory cycle has become, end quote. Despite the allure of $1 trillion listing, Ballure remains cautious about the underlying mechanics of SK Hynix's home market, opting to keep his capital in the U.S.-based Micron. Quote, I think the NVIDIA-backed nature of SK is great. I don't love the ADR nature of it, end quote. And Ballure explained that on his podcast, continuing, I just think something wonky is happening in the Korean markets right now. So I'm just going to stick with Micron, end quote. And really quickly, I would imagine that that's probably the consensus view here in our group, but then also other market participants across the pond here. Lion saying MU is a well-managed company and my money is on MU. Makes total sense. I would imagine that that's the baseline feeling from our group. Newman shares his preference for Micron through geopolitical reasons. Pointing to supply chain security and domestic advantages, Newman stated, quote, I like Micron the most because I call its shock risk the lowest because there's no tariff risk. It's U.S.-based, end quote. While the broader semiconductor sector recently faced a sudden drawdown, which Ballure described as, quote, purely just profit-taking, end quote, The long-term thesis for both memory gains remains firmly intact. For investors weighing the two heavyweights, Newman emphasized the staggering longevity of the current AI infrastructure cycle, noting that SK Hynix is still, quote, at least 4 more years of runway selling everything it can make at any margin it wants. So again, the picking between Micron and SK Hynix is only one angle. The other angle here is that we're telling you 4 more years of runway selling everything it can make at any margin it wants. Don't think that the move in some of the memory names is necessarily over. And I think this is why there's such an appetite to buy the dip on some of these high flyer memory names that we've seen just absolutely go crazy. So good stuff there. Let me see. SK will steal from the others. I don't see a boost for them, or I don't see a boost for RAM. That's Sergeant Sexy there. Let's see. I agree, MU. Trump said he will reshore every industry. That makes sense there. And then Kathy reminding us, this is good, Kath. Kathy reminding us that DRAM has always had exposure to SK Hynix. So now it will just be interesting to see if the ADR actually brings people in here. Like Kathy, for example, are you just content trading DRAM? Or would you actually trade one of the individual names as well? The outline that Shay gives here makes a lot of sense to me. And I agree, Cynthia, with your comment here. If we're trying to reshore everything here, or especially critical component supply chains, then to me, that's one of the biggest things for Micron. I guess, as well as what Lion said there, the company is very, very well run. Okay, next story here. This is going to be on Jeff Bezos' SpaceX rival Blue Origin as it seeks $10 billion to raise a $130 billion valuation. Space race is just heating up, folks. Jeff Bezos' commercial spaceflight company Blue Origin has reportedly sought to raise $10 billion in capital, pushing the SpaceX, or the Space Exploration Technology, ticker SPCX, rivals valuation to $130 billion. According to a report by the New York Times Deal Book on Wednesday, the company has gotten a $4 billion commitment from Coatue Management, a hedge fund specializing in tech-related investments. The report also said that Bezos will contribute $2 billion in Blue Origin's latest funding round. An additional $4 billion is expected via large institutional investors, and that is as per the report. The news comes as Blue Origin has been involved with NASA, as the company's New Glenn rocket will be an integral part of the agency's exploration missions. Blue Origin has also involved the Artemis program alongside SpaceX. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman also said the agency's scientists were helping the rocket company probe the 28 May explosion of the New Glenn rocket. Social Capital co-founder Chamath Palihapitiya, let me make sure Tim Melvin's not around anywhere, has backed SpaceX over artificial intelligence competitors like OpenAI and Anthropic due to the company's space capabilities. Morgan Stanley, ticker MS, analyst Adam Jonas also outlined a bullish case for SpaceX, predicting a price target of $600 per share and a $3.3 trillion in revenue by 2040. However, investor Gary Black of the Future Fund LLC has expressed skepticism about SpaceX, adopting a bearish position on the company. SpaceX's mega IPO has helped spike investor appetite in space stocks as the company raised close to $86 billion at a valuation of $1.75 trillion. Following the IPO, the company's stock also gained an expedited entry into the Nasdaq 100 index. Now, following the entry into the index, SpaceX will also see billions in forced buying as index funds and ETFs tracking the benchmark would, of course, be required to buy the stock. So, we've talked a lot about space plays here, not just one or the other, but all of the ones that are adjacent and connected to the entire race. And, we actually did a really good job with some of the other halo effect names like ASTS, Rocket Lab, Velo especially. By the way, shout out to you folks that were adding Velos in the 12s and 13s yesterday. Stock is in the mid 14s, might go to 15 here today, which is one of the levels that we talked about. So I just think this is more proof that we are in the very early innings of this. And I would also venture to say that there's likely going to be some other breakthrough here that we haven't yet forecasted. So we'll see. I'm a big fan of this. Big fan of this. I think we're going to have other plays on this. Okay. Another pretty big story here. They were talking about this on CNBC this morning. They actually interviewed Morrison here on CNBC. The NHTSA warns that autonomous vehicle companies over a clear pattern of first responder interference. And this is a serious problem that we're going to need to figure out. It doesn't even really matter if you're a fan of Waymo or Tesla or the robotaxi or any of the other autonomous features. This whole thing needs to get figured out. In particular, if they start building cars without pedals and steering wheels, we're going to need to be able to very quickly obey law enforcement and make sure some of these autonomous vehicles don't wander into a what did they call it here? First responder incident or something even worse than that, frankly. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Administrator, Jonathan Morrison, on Wednesday criticized autonomous vehicles as well as the companies operating them, following instances of autonomous vehicles interfering with law enforcement as well as firefighters and paramedics' operations. Morrison, in a letter, said the agency wants companies to deliver fixes by the end of the month, this month, July, saying that the agency has identified a, quote, clear pattern of driverless AVs interfering with law enforcement and other first responders, end quote. The problem was a safety shortfall, Morrison said, adding that the agency had received reports of robotaxis entering live incident areas, blocking the paths of ambulances or firefighters, among other problems. Tesla, Waymo, Zoox, the NHTSA, and Uber did not immediately respond to Benzinga's request for comment. I am sure we will hear more on this, and I will bring it to you. In the letter, Morrison said that, quote, an AV that cannot safely interact with first responders is a danger to the general public, end quote. And he added that NHTSA expected the autonomous driving companies to, quote, prioritize first responder interactions, end quote, with AVs. Now, really quickly here, I almost can't believe that this was overlooked, to be quite honest. This, to me, almost seems like a black eye on the face of some of these autonomous vehicles. I think back to when I was in driving school, and I know that was a long time ago, there might have still been a dinosaur roaming the earth, but when I was back in driving school, one of the first things that we all talked about, and I don't even just mean in the classroom, I mean when I'm driving along with my parents or the instructor or anyone else, was that making way for law enforcement and emergency vehicles is like priority number one. Just to me, that's an obvious one. And I see people doing that all of the time. This to me seems like this would have been one of the first things that they had ironed out, but apparently not yet. The NHTSA administrator said that the agency would schedule, quote, meetings with driverless automated driving system developers by month's end, end quote, to discuss possible solutions. Notably, the letter did not mention or single out any particular company or operator. The letter comes as Alphabet, ticker GOOG, issued multiple recalls of nearly 3,900 Waymo robotaxis following reports that the vehicles entered flooded areas and construction zones. Waymo also recently announced that the end of its partnership with Uber Technologies, ticker UBER, in Phoenix. Meanwhile, the Amazon-backed Zoox recently unveiled its updated robotaxi, with the company saying it can produce 100 units of the pod-like vehicle at its facility in California. Zoox has completed over 500,000 rides since it rolled out its service in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, as well as the company's AI lead Ashok Eluswamy, fired back against claims that the company's autonomous vehicle technology was involved in a fatal crash in Texas. NHTSA, as well as the National Transportation Safety Board, however, have launched probes into the incident. The agency had earlier announced it was already probing over 3.2 million vehicles for the full self-driving tech, or FSD. The probe recently moved its investigations to engineering analysis, a stage that usually precedes a recall, according to the law. So again, we're definitely moving towards this. This one was a bit surprising, though. This one was a bit surprising. I would have thought that they had this stuff figured out. We'll see. Now, this next story here, this one's exciting for me. I do use Grok quite a bit. I actually pay for Grok, and Grok Build, one of the beta things that it for like coding and creating apps, it is phenomenal. I've never really thought about the comparison of like efficiency for how much tokens cost, partly because I use all of the different AI tools. And so if I ever run out of tokens, I just open up another one and go from there. And I've never really grinded away enough at it to use up all of my tokens across all of the different services. This story I thought was interesting. On Wednesday, SpaceX AI launched Grok 4.5, its newest AI model designed to help users write code, complete complex work tasks, and handle research-heavy projects. SpaceX AI, formerly XAI, operates as a wholly owned artificial intelligence unit of SpaceX, ticker SPCX. The company said Grok 4.5 is its strongest model so far and was trained alongside Cursor. SpaceX AI said the model can build apps from simple prompts, create Excel models, draft PowerPoint slides, and write clear documents in Word. The company priced Grok 4.5 at $2 per million input tokens and $6 per million output tokens, making it cheaper than some rival AI models. SpaceX AI Grok 4.5 could pressure enterprise AI pricing by offering a lower cost option for high volume coding and agentic AI workloads, according to Counterpoint analyst Neil Shah. Now, Shah said on Thursday that enterprises are facing, quote, token bill shock, end quote, as autonomous agents and coding tools consume large volumes of tokens, making AI adoption increasingly expensive. The one other aspect of this that we've seen in almost every application of AI usage is that the more people use this and the more benefit that they perceive they're getting, the more they become reliant on this. So all of a sudden, when you run out of tokens, the initial knee-jerk reaction is, I gotta buy more. I gotta buy more. He said Grok 4.5 enters the market as a fast, good enough, and cheaper model priced at $2 per million input tokens and $6 per million output tokens. That is below Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.8 pricing of $5 per token for input and $25 for output. Shah said enterprises are moving towards diversified AI stacks, in which they route workloads based on cost, speed, and accuracy rather than relying on a single model provider. He said companies could use Claude for complex, high-stake tasks while using Grok for higher volume developer workflows and repetitive agentic routing. Shah said Grok's access to Cursor telemetry data could help it improve through the developer interaction feedback. He added that if Grok maintains its cost advantage while narrowing the accuracy gap, it could reshape enterprise AI economics and pose a new pricing threat to OpenAI and Anthropic. And this is one of the things we're going to probably start to see here, a cost race to the lowest possible cost amongst all of these competing LLMs. And we've talked about this before. At this point now, they're so good, especially with coding. That's arguably the task that they do best. And that's independent of the brand. Claude Code, Chat GPTs, what do they call it? Codex, I think, or OpenAI. I can't remember all of the names for them, but all of these different coding apps, they do that job extremely well. I think the next phase here is probably finding what can do the tasks the cheapest. That makes a lot of sense. Grok really does shine, by the way. Grok Build is absolutely phenomenal. All right, next story here. This is going to be on Taiwan Semiconductor, and this one's important because we've talked a lot about Taiwan Semiconductor, how important it is to the AI theme here. And Futurum Shea Ballure explains why NVIDIA, AMD, Apple, and Broadcom all depend on Taiwan Semiconductor. We've talked about this a lot, but this is also a really good kind of rundown on the whole thing. Every token ultimately pays an invisible royalty. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, or ticker TSM, sits at the center of the artificial intelligence supply chain, making it one of the most important companies behind the industry's rapid expansion. And that is according, again, to Futurum Equity's chief market strategist, Shea Ballure. In a post on X on Wednesday, Ballure argued that TSMC offers one of the clearest ways for investors to gain exposure to the AI boom because many of the world's leading chip designers rely on the same advanced manufacturing partner. He pointed to companies including NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, Advanced Micro Devices, ticker AMD, Apple, ticker AAPL, Broadcom, ticker AVGO, and Qualcomm, ticker QCOM, along with hyperscalers developing custom silicon, saying that they all depend on TSMC's leading-edge manufacturing capabilities. Quote, "The real bottleneck is who has access to scarce wafer starts," end quote. Bloor wrote that, adding that TSMC remains a physical choke point behind nearly every major AI chip. He also noted that while the company's advanced N3 production is reportedly expanding to around 220,000 wafers per month, a true, quote, second source, end quote, with comparable capabilities still does not exist. In an accompanying video, Bloor describes TSMC as the AI factory or manufacturing layer of the AI economy. While companies such as NVIDIA and AMD design cutting-edge processors, he said TSMC possesses the scale, manufacturing yields, advanced packaging technology, and production discipline needed to turn those designs into chips at commercial volumes. Quote, "You can have the best chip design in the world, but if you cannot manufacture it at scale with high yields and reliable supply, the product doesn't matter at all." End quote. Bloor added that TSMC's manufacturing network powers AI accelerators, networking chips, custom silicon, and advanced packaging technologies, concluding that, quote, "Every token ultimately pays an invisible royalty to TSMC," end quote, because so much of the AI ecosystem depends on its chip-making capacity. A key near-term catalyst for TSMC is its earnings report, which is scheduled for July 16th. That is not far down the road. Wall Street expects the chip maker to report earnings of $3.77 per share. That's up from $2.47 a year ago, while revenue is projected to increase to $39.76 billion from $30.07 billion. Analysts remain broadly bullish on the stock, no surprise. According to Benzinga Pro, TSMC has a consensus price target of $434.38 based on ratings from 8 analysts. The latest 3 price targets from Bank of America, Susquehanna, and Barclays average $545, implying a potential upside of 24.37% from the stock's current price. So I know TSMC has been on a massive run here, but you're getting some of the experts here to say this is so important, no matter what other company you're looking at, it is so important that there's even more upside here. Cynthia, I totally agree with you. TSMC and ASML, which is not mentioned in the article here, are definitely picks and shovel must-haves. And we've talked a ton about how important the AI infrastructure angle is, as opposed to just the hyperscalers, for example. Okay, it looks like we got jobless claims. I think I ran right over that. Sorry about that. But the producer, dude, he's got you. He's got you on lockdown. He's already scrolling that stuff and mentioning it here in the chat. I will cover it here real quick. Sorry about the delay. U.S. continuing jobless claims, 1814 versus the 1820 estimates. Just a little bit light there, but not much. U.S. initial jobless claims, 215,000 versus the 218,000 estimate. And U.S. initial jobless claims revises the prior read from 215 to 217,000. So there is your data print. There doesn't look like a huge reaction here. S&P futures continue to tick up slightly. We are now holding higher by 0.33%. And by the way, checking in on the Dow, which was slightly in the red earlier, that's now in the green, higher by 0.08%. So we now have green across the screen, and we are still holding on to a gain in the oil futures price as well. Almost no reaction. Indeed, Bhavesh. Indeed, that's what we're seeing here. So at least we got that out of the way without any more wild swings or anything like that. Okay, last news story for you here. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, he's saying that software engineers would rather build AI agents than write Python code. Now, I guess I'm not terribly surprised about this at all, but regardless, NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, CEO Jensen Huang said artificial intelligence is reshaping software engineering by shifting developers away from repetitive coding tasks and towards building AI agents, systems, and tools that are designed to automate complex work. I was just telling you about how all these AI tools do coding the best. You know why? It's actually a fairly simple concept. The AI tools are being developed by coders. What do coders do every single day? They code, they build. So it makes sense that this big new revolutionary thing that they're building does what they do every day the best. They don't look up stock prices. They don't dig through earnings reports. They code. So these tools, it's no surprise that the best thing they do, at least currently, is in fact code. They code better than humans now. On Wednesday, in an interview published by NVIDIA, Huang said the rise of agentic systems is creating a new category of technical skills. Well, wait, though. I thought AI was supposed to crush all the jobs, and everyone was going to not have a job and have to be on universal basic income. How are they creating new categories and new skills? How is this happening? And sarcasm. Quote, these agentic systems are new skills, and now we have a lot of software engineers building agents, end quote. He went on to add, if you ask me, every one of my software engineers prefers to be building agents than to be writing Python code, end quote. The NVIDIA CEO said AI is reducing the amount of manual coding that engineers perform, allowing them to focus on designing AI systems, creating benchmarks, and developing safety measures known as guardrails. Quote, you're taking all of the mundane work and all you're trying to get this agent to do it, Goes on to say, that requires imagination. That requires creativity, a lot of technology. I think that's spot on, end quote. Wang has repeatedly promoted AI assistance in the workplace and said NVIDIA plans to expand the use of AI agents across its divisions to improve productivity. Earlier, Marvell Technology CEO Matt Murphy, Marvell ticker MRVL, said AI agents could fuel increased spending on networking, optical connectivity, and custom silicon as AI systems become more interconnected and generate greater data traffic across clusters. The company cited stronger than expected AI infrastructure demand and raised its long-term growth outlook. Amazon, ticker AMZN, their web services CEO Matt Garman said agentic AI is reshaping software development, with AI-powered tools transforming productivity and business applications. Amazon Web Services introduced new AI products and expanded partnerships, including access to OpenAI models, as Garmin predicted that, quote, everything is going to be remade by AI, end quote. Microsoft, ticker MSFT, CEO Satya Nadella also highlighted the shift towards agentic computing, saying AI agents were becoming a central part of the technology ecosystem. Microsoft focused on expanding its AI infrastructure and developing AI systems for productivity, coding, and cybersecurity as its AI business surpassed $37 billion in annual recurring revenue. So, again, takeaway here, first of all, I'm not surprised at all to read any of this, but the takeaway here is that in addition to coding and some of the tech bros jobs, AI is going to help, and it is going to create new skills. And in fact, I was actually just talking to one of my friends who's building something right now. And one of the things they said is that, you know, as someone that's not like a coder initially, I'm actually learning through the process here what is required in app building and coding and error checking and all of that. And these, without even realizing it, these are skills that are being acquired as you continue to move through this. And the AI is so good that it actually helps you learn, not just kind of create holes and leave the mistakes out there. It actually helps you learn this stuff. And new skills are being developed. I've said from the beginning of this, there is always going to be demand for anyone that is talented in prompting these AI tools. I don't care if you're developing an app, if you're building an Excel model, if you're doing something for whatever line of work that you're in. If you are good at prompting, you are going to be valuable. AI is not going anywhere. It's going to continue to be folded in, and those that work with it well and efficiently are going to be sought after. And we're actually seeing that more. We just had an article about how much some of the tokens cost. Well, guess what? If you can achieve the same amount of work using less tokens than your peer or your colleague, you're going to be more valuable to that business without a doubt. All right. Oh, we are golden on time again. I love that we're not rushing all of these. I absolutely love this. I think this is going really well. I do have 2 street tweets for you. We're going to do that here, and then we can go ahead, take a look at ticker time. Maybe I'll go through some of the chat here and see what you guys are saying. All I see is Lion pounding the keyboard here, so I'm a little skeptical. I actually have to read through it before I go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do street tweets right now. All right, first one here comes from Jim Cramer. The bankers are letting everyone know how oversubscribed the SK Hynix deal is. That is a dangerous game, he says. I hope they still price it at a little bit of a discount. Not too much to scare people, but not enough to keep the deal tight. Okay, so I got it. But I mean, look, the deal I think is like 7x oversubscribed already. It's in one of the hottest themes going on right now. I don't think people are going to be scared of this. I think it would take a couple of days of this thing really underperforming for people to be scared. I don't really think that's a problem. And I think that there's a ton of demand for these products. So we'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. I wanted to get your opinion on this nonetheless. Producer, next tweet. Now, this one, a little bit more interesting. We might start with these charts here during ticker time. You guys, we've been talking a lot about Burry recently, calling the market, close to a top. A crash is coming. The short on Palantir, what was the short on Micron at 1046 or whatever it is. Well, Michael Burry disclosed that he has established a full-size long position, split 60% into Flutter Entertainment. That's ticker FLUT. He bought that around $107. And 40% into DraftKings, ticker DKNG, affectionately called Donkey Kong around these parts. He bought that in the low 26s. So Michael Burry loading up here on 2 of the biggest gambling stocks. I think one of the notable things for me here is this is a bet. It feels like maybe a bet against the prediction markets. All of the news that we've had here seem to be about prediction markets versus sports betting and how much are one going to cannibalize the other. Burry here going deep in both of them. 60 in Flutter, 40 in DraftKings. Flutter is the one that definitely trades better and has performed better. You could make the case then for DraftKings that it still has a big run to make. But let me know if you folks are interested in either of these. And what we'll do is we'll go back to Pro here and we'll take a look at some of them. So let me actually queue up Pro. Producer, I'm sorry, my man. My entire browser here is locked up. This is crazy. Crazy. All right, let me see. Sorry about this, folks. Dealing with a technical issue here that I cannot get around. I don't know what's going on with Google Chrome. This thing has not been running very well at all. Okay, I think we're okay here. Yes, I think we're okay now. All right. We'll start here with Flutter. So here's what the chart looks like. So I had already kind of talked about how Flutter has been one of the better performing ones. Now, we had a long-term trend line here that we snapped, retested, broke down further. We continued to break down, but it does look to me like this bottom is in here. Now, Burry, it said that purchase was at like 107. So we actually had a bottom here that's sub $100 down here at 91. But look at this sideways area. This looks pretty good. This actually looks like a pretty good base. We've got a good volume profile here. So I could actually absolutely see a move higher from here. Now, I would definitely plan for some downside. If this were me and I were buying this today above 100, I hate to even do this, but I would definitely put my stop at like 99 and change, right? If we break 100 there, let it go find its bottom. That round number, who knows how much more it could sell off from there. I personally think that these are going to do all right. I think there's going to be more and more regulation and separation with some of the prediction markets. And I would imagine that any of that would stand to benefit some of these sports betting stocks here. Chart here on Flutter looks like it is at a tradable bottom. We'll see. Now, DraftKings here. This is what we have here on DraftKings. And again, if we back out, you can see here, Not the best performance. I know we did trade up to $50 at the beginning of February of 2025. This was right after the Super Bowl. We did hit that high, but boy, oh boy, we came back in. We made a lower high. Then we broke down through the support level. Then we made an even lower high again, broke through the support level. So are we going to do that again here? Well, DraftKings does look like it's trading sideways, very similarly to Flutter. We do have more of like a target here, right? We're above the 20-day. We've looked like we've held the 50-day. We have the 200-day right ahead of us. And the last time we went to test the 200-day, we were roundly rejected at it. So I think one of the things to look at here on DraftKings is, can we get above and stay above the 200-day moving average? If we can, that probably sets up a move towards that $500 or maybe that $35 level. That also happens to be the volume point of control that encompasses all the way back to 2024. So to me, it really seems like this $35 level is key. If we can make this chart look bullish at all, perhaps that could be our next stop. Let me know if any of you folks are interested in any of the gambling stocks, and particularly, which one do you prefer here? Which one do you prefer here? James Young says Kramer is a clown. There is a lot of that opinion. You are absolutely not alone. That's kind of why I wanted to ask about that. Cam reminds us that his name is Creamer. Born to be Free says that's the kiss of death. We'll see. We'll see on that. Okay, what else were you guys talking about here? More talk here about SK Hynix. SK Hynix is about 4x SanDisk market cap and about even with Micron. Okay. I've never heard of a Flutter Entertainment before. I see they own FanDuel. Yeah, that's why, Joe. You've never heard of Flutter, but you have absolutely heard of FanDuel. Flutter's just the parent company. Full disclosure, FanDuel's the app that I use. I'm a small peanuts sports bettor. I bet $10 at a time. Liam says, Ryan, please go through the upcoming IPO for SK Hynix. Liam, I already did that. We already covered the SK Hynix news story. There's really not much else to cover per se. I was trying to get a idea from the group here on who's bullish on that or not. It actually sounds like our group is still more interested in Micron than in SK Hynix, mostly because of its ties here or its shoring here on American shores. Here is Micron. Good news on this chart. Looks like we held the 50. Looks like we held the 50. Line here said Micron at 1,000 is still cheaper than NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel. Let me ask, Lion, do you think that we hold this? I know what your answer is going to be. I would imagine that you definitely think we're going to hold this and we're going to end up bouncing higher here. But let me know what you folks think here on Micron. Do we trade back up? Do we maybe make an attempt to recapture that 20-day moving average, 1046? Do we end up going back to the highs? Let me know what you think on that one. Fake Beat, you like DraftKings more than Flutter. Okay. All right. Let me know what other stocks you folks want to take a look at here today. We got 10 minutes before we go to pre-market pulse. So we'll do the movers here in a little bit. Lance says stock market gambling is better than all of those. I don't view the stock market as gambling. I definitely think that there's a lot to this, but I would agree with you. It is so much more rewarding. Higher upside. Let's put it that way. Higher upside. Yassine on Micron, you think it's going to hit 1050 and then pull back? Interesting. That's actually going to look like a rejection of the 20, Yassine. So let me ask you this. Let's say you're correct. Let's say we do trade up towards 1050. We end up rolling over there and trading back down. Are you a short at that point? Would you trade Micron short? I'm not asking if you're short. Would you trade Micron to the short side if it looked like it couldn't get above that 20-day moving average? Let me know. Okay. Joe says, is there a rationale for these shifts between software days and hardware days? That's just figuring out where the next move is. That's you're seeing a common market factor there where people's opinions change from some day to day, but sometimes minute to minute. Old adage in the stock market, if you don't like a stock's price, just look at it 15 minutes later. You might like it a little bit more. Okay. Yassine, Lion thinks you're full of it. Micron is actually going to go back to 1100. It's not going to stop at 1050. Interesting. Okay. Thank you for some of the tickers here. Hun and Hun A. So we're talking about the Honeywell. All right. Here is Honeywell. Let's see what we have inside here. So Honeywell so far still holding the 220.84, right? Yep, 220.84. That was marked as one of our kind of key levels here, like a key support level. We're still in the downtrend here on Honeywell. This doesn't actually look bad to me at all. It doesn't look like it's kind of going gangbusters right now, but nothing unhealthy about this chart. Let's take a look at some bigger time frames here. Yeah, this is still very, very intact trend. We're actually at the bottom end of that trend. On the weekly here, the 200 weeks at 207, that's been really indicative of the trend. This actually still looks like it has some room to go up, to be quite honest with you. Honeywell. Now, you also said Hun A. This is going to be Honeywell Aerospace. Let's go back to the daily here. This is a new issue. Here's Honeywell Aerospace. This one I don't follow as much. Let me see if there's anything on here. And we don't have a whole lot of chart to go off of. Morgan Stanley slapped a 255 price target on it. BMO Capital went to 278. Wells Fargo 250. BNP Paribas 245. 235 from Jefferies. 250 from Cowen. So we're pretty much right where the analysts think here. Let's look inside. Let's maybe look at an hourly chart and see what we can get here. All right, so we're pretty much at it. We're basically just at this like sideways area here. As far as a trade goes, I'd be worried, or I'd be looking for maybe some more downside sub 220. And maybe we can kind of go on a run like this again if we end up, what is this, 240? I think probably a little bit sooner than that. Maybe 230, 235. Right now with HONA, Tyler, it kind of looks sideways. This one, I think you're okay, kind of waiting out and seeing which direction it picks. Honeywell, I think we have a little bit of a longer term there. That has ties to quantum on it. That chart looks like it's in a steady uptrend and it's near the bottom of the range. So I think ads on Honeywell make sense, especially if you're bullish on quantum. This one, I think you probably want to wait out a little bit. Okay. And then Corey, I appreciate this. Your news report on AI and building of agents is spot on. I've been using all the large language models to see which ones I like the most, and Grok, Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini are working together. Wow. Yeah. Again, I've talked to other folks that say when you work with these things together, you can really kind of see some additional magic, right? Because they all work a little bit differently. And if you output, like if one of them gives you an output, like if you're building like an HTML file or a doc or an app, and you put that into another one, there might be other things that it finds there that you didn't necessarily plan on, I guess is the right word. Okay, Honeywell, Hun A. Wish I had more for you, Tyler. But again, just to recap, Honeywell, I think, is in a great trend, bullish on quantum. That's probably along. It's at the bottom of that trend. HONA, we want to wait for it to pick a direction. Too new of an issue. Levi Strauss, LOL, says Cynthia. Cynthia, I can't tell if you actually want to take a look at it or if maybe it's just kind of a lull that it's moving or whatever. The interesting thing here, if we take a look at the 5-minute chart, so they reported earnings, they traded down to 23. That level, definitely a key level here today. Now we're trading back up, so we'll see if we can fill this gap up to 24.5. And then if you look at the daily chart here, that would be important because look where we're at. Basically a triple top. So if we're able to go red to green here after earnings, maybe actually tease a breakout, maybe we would have a little bit of a run here on Levi's. I'm not familiar with this product. I don't actually wear a lot of jeans anymore, to be honest with you. I can't even remember the last time I've looked or put on a pair of Levi's. Needham has a $28 target. BTIG has a $27 target. That's today, post the earnings. Earning was a beat on the top and the bottom line, beat on EPS by 4 cents, beat on sales barely, 0.04 billion. And then they raised their guidance. So it's interesting, I guess, that it sold off. I didn't go through the transcript on this one. Maybe that would be a kind of a next step here. But yeah, I do like that it's customer facing. I don't necessarily have a really good feeling here on Levi's. I would watch that triple top, see if it breaks. Short interest in here is some, but I wouldn't make a big deal about this. I wouldn't even really call that all that high. Maybe just elevated a little bit, but seven and change percent, not a whole lot there. Just watch this triple top. Watch this triple top. If we can break out from this area, you might see more of a run, maybe to the high 20s. Otherwise, I'd look for a pullback probably to the 200. That's going to be about 21 and a half, maybe call it 22. That's what I would see there on Levi's. All right, what was the other one, the other stocks that you guys? What about MBIS? All right, let's take a look at MBIS again. Now I see exactly why you're asking about this. So right away here, today's move higher, 3.47%. Actually, let me check if we had any news today. Wednesday, this was after hours. Bloom. Oh, Lion, I didn't even see this. Bloom Energy short report. Go get him, Lion. Go look that up. I'm sorry I'm digressing from Nebius here, but I actually didn't realize this. Bloom Energy is facing downward pressure on Wednesday following an investigative report published by Hunter Brook Media. Hunter Brook Capital disclosed it is a short position in Bloom Energy, including derivatives, alongside a long position in MBIS. Okay, so the same group that's shorting Bloom Energy likes MBIS here. Stock's up by 5% now. Bloom Energy told Benzinga that the company is aware of the report published by a media outlet affiliated with an investment firm, and that it is disclosed it may hold positions designed to profit from a decline in Bloom's stock and plans to issue a response. They said, quote, "We are reviewing the report and will correct the record. Bloom's fuel cell platform is supported by a diversified multi-country supply chain built over 2 decades, long-standing commercial relationships, and proprietary material recovery technology, as described in our public filings and our July 7th blog post on scandium oxide." Interesting. So Nebius, so because of Hunter Brook, Nebius is being dragged into the short report here on Bloom Energy. Okay. That is very interesting. I actually missed that news yesterday, so I'm glad that we're covering it. Really quickly here, Nebius, 23.83% of its float is shorted. That is our high criteria of 20%. But only 3.14 days to cover. So our high criteria there is 5. We're not quite there. This is still a notable short interest and perhaps could have some squeeze potential. Okay, so number one, this is definitely going to be worth watching in the near term here. If anything happens with Bloom Energy, you might as well check in on NBIS as well and see if that's responding to it. As far as the chart goes here, this pullback probably healthy. In fact, how much was this pullback? Let's check. Let's check here real quick. So it pulled back, this recent move down, it pulled back 35+% from the highs. That's great. That's great. That's probably healthy. I would see, can we close above 218.38 here today? A recapture of this 50-day probably puts the 20-day on deck. That's at 245. Maverick, what are you on the long side of this or are you on the short side of this? This to me, actually, if we're able to close above the 50-day moving average here, I actually think this might be a decent setup. 35% pullback from the all-time highs. That might not be bad. All right, let's go ahead and do pre-market pulse. We'll get 13 in here. We'll check some of the movers. Producers telling me that one of the movers is going ham. Cool. Let's check it out. $13. Good morning. How you doing, dude?
I'm fine. That was me that posted that.
Oh,
producer. Because yeah, it's time. It's time for movers, and they're moving.
Now I see. Okay. You're getting me to go there. That's clever. That's clever. Let's do the movers.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, I have this set from one of my demonstrations yesterday. Shame on me. Shame on me. Okay, VRAX here is first. So we did VTech yesterday, and it's VRAX today. Stock is up 169%. Actually, that's more than that. It's up 245%. All right. Virax Biolab shares are trading higher after the company announced its subsidiary, Virax Biolabs, LOL, entered into an exclusive multi-country commercial supply agreement with Fosun Diagnostics for Immune Select research use immune profiling product line. Okay, that sounds complicated. Elevated short interest, but not high, only 14.67%. Days to cover is 1, so that's not even elevated. Micro float here, under 1 million shares, at least according to my reading here, 776,000 shares in the float. 13, what do you have here on VRAX? Let me refresh and see if I can get this to update.
Yeah, so this is moving on, well, just to simplify it, the subsidiary agreement. Just to simplify what's going on here. So what's more important is that they recently did a 1-for-25 reverse split on June 26th, and now their float is under 1 million. It is 776,000 shares. That is one of the reasons why you're seeing this take off like it has. It's very easy to push around with the small float. Company doesn't have any revenue, or very, very little, like we're talking in four digits. It does have some cash, but it's not profitable. I thought no, that's not the one I was looking at. So this is just a vehicle for trading. I don't think the price really belongs up here, but I do have this. I do have a bunch of levels, and we just ran through all of them this morning. The last one being 1240. We only hit 1195. So don't know if that's going to be about where this party ends, but if we do get up into the 1240 area, I would think that this is going to probably pull out of the gate. So I would be quite careful if you're going to trade this, especially with this run that it's already gone on. I did have, okay, so I already mentioned resistance, support on the way back down. I'll just mention the levels that I had on the way back up. We had 10, 9, 820, and 738. That's all before VWAP that I have. So if we do turn around, those are the levels to keep an eye on. Right now, it's trying to get above the next level before that 1240, which is 1130.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there on VRAG. Oh, there's.
Yep.
Look at it go.
1130. Yeah.
Right through that. All right. We'll see if we get through 12 here. I'm going to keep moving on. Did you have anything else on your list you wanted me to focus on here?
So the ones I looked at today were that one, RKTO. And RPGL. I also thought it was notable that SDOT was back. We did have Pepsi earnings, which they did mention something that we've kind of been alluding to with how the rising prices of fuel has pulled spending away from other areas, and Pepsi cited that. And then there was also a piece of news that I caught that I thought was worth mentioning. There's going to be a World AI Conference in Shanghai from July 17th to 20th, and there's going to be a lot of showcasing of different innovation products. Big names are going to be there: Microsoft, IBM, Cisco, Amazon, Google, and Tesla, to name a few.
Okay.
Now RKTO, since this it's already going again. This one was accepted into SpaceX's AI proprietary program. They've basically added. Do you want to read the headline?
Rocket One shares are trading higher after the company announced it added SpaceX AI API to its AI technology stack. That seems like a name drop that's pushing it here, 13. That's exactly what it seems like to me. 21.61% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover, elevated on the percent of float, but not on the days to cover. And the float on this one, 21.7 million.
Yeah, it does have some high short interest, but days to cover really doesn't meet our criteria. But we could just see this, squeeze here, and then that might be all that we get. They also just regained Nasdaq compliance late last month, and nope, that's not them. They don't have any revenue. They have some cash. They're not profitable, so that's pretty par for the course for these movers. The resistance that I had was 115. We've actually come right up to it, and we're trying to get through that now. There are some sellers in the way just above 115 all the way up to 120. So if we do turn around here, I could understand that. Support would be down at VWAP. But if we do manage to push higher through all these sellers between this 115 to 120 area, I have resistance next at 128.
Okay. Good stuff there. RKTO. Dara here says RKTO has 2 employees. Lol.
Yeah. Right. So no revenue, some cash. So there you go.
Well, at least they don't have to pay a whole lot of employees a whole bunch of money, 13.
Yeah, but it's going to pay a whole lot of people if we manage this trade right.
Yeah, that's well said there. Okay, did you have RPGL on your list?
Yes,
okay.
This is a real simple one.
Okay, cool. This is a Singapore company. RPGL looks like it spiked in the after hours yesterday and up to 3 here today. But it's done the dreaded pre-market move where it bleeds back through the VWAP, then never makes an attempt to go after it. Let's see what happened here last night. Republic Power Group Limited regains compliance with Nasdaq's minimum bid. Okay,
easy.
You're not kidding about it being simple. 3 negligible short interest, float here of 1 million. What do you got?
Yeah, this one does have some revenue. It's no cash. The last report pretty much indicated that its profitability was break even. I think because this is not like the ones we looked at earlier, this move may have already happened for the time being. But as we're trying to put in a bottom here in the pre-market, I would keep an eye on the price action around the 65 EMA. If we do start to move up and away from that towards the VWAP, which is the next resistance, I think I would keep an eye on the volume expansion there, because if we start climbing back up, we can possibly get some higher prints. And the way we can get an idea of where this might go is if we draw a trend line from the highs and the after hours in the pre-market today. So start with any high from the pre-market, draw through the high of the after hours, draw through the high of the pre-market. That gives us a pretty elevated target from where we are right now. But with 1 million shares in the float, this thing could get pushed up if it ends up doing that. Beyond VWAP, the resistance after that is going to be about 305, and then we can start looking towards the $4 area, or the high threes, which is where that trend line would take us.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got it drawn here, and you're right. That VWAP is going to be the first mile marker there on whether or not that trade's going to work. So we'll see if we can even get through it to begin with. Okay, did you have anything else?
No, I just looked at those 3.
Okay, I want to take a look at Soon here. This is Sun Nation Energy. This actually spiked up to 280 yesterday, came back in a little bit, but didn't fully break down, and has done a good job holding the 200 EMA here today. So that's good. The other thing is that this was, you guys remember Crow? Crow actually likes this one recently. Oh. He was mentioning he liked it. I think he was accumulating about 250, but don't quote me on that. I haven't asked him recently, and I don't want to speak for him. But he did like this stock here. We've got a trend line here connecting the after hours high and the pre-market high here today. That gives us a target. We're basically sitting right at VWAP here. Stock is up 15.5%. Now, what happened here last night, Sun Nation Energy's 13G filing shows that Jane Street disclosed a 5.1% passive stake. It also showed that AWM Investment Company disclosed a 19.9% stake. That's a private equity company. So multiple stakes taken in Soon here. Sun Nation Energy after hours. That, to me, is somewhat notable. Percent of float short here, just shy of 12%. Let's check what we got on the days to cover. That's 1. That's negligible. And the float on this one, 4.12 million. 13, what do you think about a possible trend line break here on Soon?
Yeah, I drew that myself. I'm also looking at that VWAP there. The thing that I think I'd be concerned about is, you see in the after hours prior to the pre-market opening and that big drop, there's this little bit area of consolidation that's from about 245 to 265. That 20-cent range there has some has some it's a supply zone, so it's going to have some resistance. We already saw that once today, this morning around 720, 730. So I think that if we do come back up there again, we're going to need to see some, probably the same or better volume than what we were getting back then in order to push through that and get and cross the trend line. But it does look pretty interesting, and I think that it's definitely one to watch. I think if we do get back above that VWAP, we could see volume expand. So something to watch for here with SUNE.
Okay, 247, 250, definitely an area to watch there. Then the trend line. Let me actually just, you might have said it. Yeah, that's at the high 250s there. So, okay, we'll keep Soon here. This is actually one of the movers I think we could watch here today.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you had nothing else here. The only other one that I see that is maybe even worth talking about, JLHL, Julong Holding. This is a China name. This thing got blasted yesterday. It looks like it's, I don't know that this is necessarily a great opportunity here. Yeah.
I don't have any news.
Yeah, I'm going to skip this one. If you guys have anything on this one and you want us to take a look at it, that's one thing, but I don't think so. Okay.
Only thing I can think of is that it's got a pretty low float, about 1.5 million shares. So it could get pushed around, but beyond that, I don't know what would drive it.
Okay, and then here we go. So here's Bloom Energy. So we just talked about this, Lion. Bloom Energy shares are trading higher after the company responded to Hunter Brook Media's July 8th short report. So, okay, that short report brought us down here. Maybe we're a little late here, Lion. This brought us down to about 240. Stock's back at 271. Still think you might want to watch Bloom here today. Chris, are you out there? Do you ever trade Bloom calls from the open? I know you've traded some other stocks that are similar to this from the open when you think they're going up. Let me know if you trade Bloom and what we might look for there. Otherwise, let's see what the short interest is, by the way. 12%. Go ahead,
with this, you got a situation where 285 is going to be the make or break.
Okay.
Because you got the 20 and 50-day estimates right up in there. And when we lost those and we came down and tested, pretty much, now we already filled that gap, but pretty much down to that same area, just beneath 240 or about 240, where the gap was filled back in June. That was the support that we reversed off of. So now I think the next thing we would want to see is a recapture of those two moving averages, which if we don't get, I think we end up going on to lose that 240 support.
Okay, now as of the close yesterday, the calls that expire tomorrow, so this would, again, short-term trade here, we're talking about today mostly. The 285 calls that expire tomorrow were closed at 272 by 310. Now the stock's up 7% here today, so those are going to be higher than that. But that might be a way to kind of look at it if you think this is going to go straight up. Lion, I'd be curious. You said I say buy BE. Okay, are you buying the common stock? Are you buying options? If you're buying options, what expiry are you buying? What strike price are you buying? What do you think there on the Bloom trade? That's an interesting one. And I apologize for missing this yesterday. I know I've promised you guys I will continue to talk about short reports when we see them so you guys can make a decision on how you're going to trade that. Hand up. I missed this one yesterday.
Real quick, those movers, Vrax went to 1230 just a moment ago and reversed. So just shy of the 1240 target. Now this is coming back in. So keep an eye on those levels that I mentioned with this one. The next one it's coming down to is 10. We have 9 after that, and then we'll have VWAP around 820. Also, RKTO, this one popped up to 127, just shy of the 128 target we mentioned. And now it's starting to see some selling pressure. So we could see this get pulled back down as we approach the open. But 115 is going to be your support. So we'll see if that holds. And if it does, then we'll see if it can get past 128. But 128 current resistance. Okay.
All right, really good job on the movers here today. Not a whole lot, but I think we broke them down quite well. And we might have something here, especially with two of these high flyers. We'll see. But good stuff there. Okay. What else do you folks want to take a look at? Or 13, is there any stock that you want to take a look at here and maybe lead us off with one?
No, I mean,
okay. You know what? I'll do it. 13. I'll take it. I'll take it. We'll take a look here at Velo. I mentioned this earlier. Okay. Oh, perfect. So we're reading each other's mind again. I love when that happens. So, all right, we'll take a look here at Velo. First of all, one of the things we talked about on Velo, 15 really kind of seemed to be a decent area to load this based on the daily chart. 13, you covered that a lot. We actually came back into a 12 handle. I was congratulating those that were able to buy in the 12 handle yesterday. And then today, here we are, 14.5. Now, did we get an upgrade today? Not an upgrade. Velo 3D, this was yesterday, actually. Velo 3D expands strategic partnership with Mears, secures an order for its 5th Sapphire XE satellite. But I could have sworn, who said that there was an upgrade on Velo here today?
I thought I saw it. Somebody said there was an upgrade.
And that's fine, because sometimes, especially some of those firms, like we don't actually get their list until they distribute it later in the day, which is some of the reasons why we don't see that as early as possible. I know we're trying to close that gap. So it's definitely possible that you guys saw that out there, but I'd like to know a little bit more about that. Let me see if I can very quickly find it here. I don't know if I can quickly find it, though. Well, you got any thoughts on the chart here? Because it looks like we're rebounding nicely off that 12 level. We're still sub 15. What do you think, though, 13?
Well, real quick, for my search indicates that the last analyst action was back on June 25th when Needham initiated coverage on it with a buy rating and a $33 price target. That's the last one that at least Google is telling me. As far as the chart goes,
I mean, look at this, 13. So really quickly, I'm sure you're going to have your own stuff to talk about here on the chart, but I got a 4-hour chart here, and going back to November 20th of 2025, I've got a really clean support side trend line that it looks like this stock basically tested, broke, recaptured in short order.
It's funny because this lines up pretty well with the 200-day SMA because I just drew it on my daily chart.
I love it when a plan comes together, dude.
So, I mean, this is one of the things the 200-day SMA is one of the things I was looking at for where the price could go. It certainly looks like it's going to head down there or close to it like it did because it was behaving as resistance prior to the breakout in April. And since then, well, for the first time now, it's acted as support, but it's been support since that breakout. The thing that we want to see next is getting back over $15, $16 and recapture some of these other moving averages. We'd like to see a reversal here. It's been hammered down, quite a bit. I wouldn't say it's as oversold as it could be. It probably could go lower. Maybe actually test that 200-day SMA. But with the price action today and that on that news of Mirror's machining, I would think that maybe we do see a bit of recovery. I'm not going to say we're going to get back over 16 today. I think that the turnaround here is going to take some time. Maybe we'll see more of it next week when we get the earnings.
Okay, here's your news. Cantor Fitzgerald initiates coverage. That's awesome, too. It's an initiation on Velo 3D with an overweight rating, $17 price target. So, okay, I mean, I don't know, to your point about it stopping at 16, I don't know that's going to go to 17 today. Lion here says Velo looks like it wants to rip higher. We've seen some of these space stocks rip higher when they get coverage like this. Cantor is respected, and this is new coverage. It's not just a price target change. So that's notable. We'll keep an eye here on Velo today. That's good.
And like I say a lot, I'm not in the business of trying to pick bottoms, but I'd like to see some, actual bottoming and maybe some recovery. But so far, it's down at the area where I would imagine that this gets some support. So we could be seeing the bottoming now.
Okay. Linda wants to take a look at CoreWeave.
All right.
So let's do that. Here's CoreWeave. I have a lot of lines on this. I'm sorry about that. CoreWeave here, I think the last time we talked about this, we really focused on 85 being a key level. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Anne-Marie set up an options trade that encompassed that 85. Might have been a Condor, though. That might have been one of the wings. I can't remember. But 85, we talked about being a key level. It looks like it has held that here. Now, we're up another 3% here today, so we're back above the 90 handle. I've got the 200-day at 100. To me, that's what it seems like. We have a little bit of a gap here that we're in too. Yeah. So we have a possible gap fill up towards 95. I'd be looking at 95 and 100, your next upside level, still very, very key at that $85 level to the downside. 13, you have anything here on CoreWeave?
For some reason, I have $85 marked off. I think that, do you remember why? I wish I'd put a note there. It might have been just some resistance. What's up?
Yes, I do. So it is actually previous resistance shortly after the IPO when this thing broke higher in May. Then it became a double bottom support that got broken through on the third test, then acted as resistance. And again, I believe this was mentioned here by Anne-Marie. But that's the 85. 13, I'm just going to step away for 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, I have this line here, and I think that's probably the exact reason why I have it on here. And it's still an area that's providing some support. We lost it yesterday. We're recapturing it this morning. Now, the thing I believe, I'm sorry, not yesterday, last week, and we captured it this week. The thing that I want to see next is getting back above 100. I think that's the next big resistance area. We also have weekly SMAs in the way that could also provide resistance. So I think 100 is the spot to watch for. If we get rejected there, then back towards 85 we go, maybe even lower. If we break through it, I think that we are in a treat for seeing some higher prints. So I think that $100 level is going to be crucial for a recapture in CoreWeave. Can't exactly say when that's going to happen. CoreWeave at 85 is a buy for you, Line. Looks like it was a buy for a lot of people. Seems like this week they've been stepping in. So my question to you is then, do you think we get past 100? Don't know what's going to drive it past that, but I mean we have some selling. It's not very much actually. Maybe a short squeeze past 100. I don't know, but $100. That's what I would expect to be the next big resistance area.
Yeah, I think you're on to something there, 13. I think we have a couple things here too. This is one to watch. This actually looks like this might make a move up here either today or really, really soon. Linda, good mention on CoreWeave. I'm glad we checked this. Okay, let me see what else we have on here.
Yes, Moses, that is correct. RKTO used to be Holt Therapeutics. That's why it's still, the industry listing is still pharmaceuticals.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. What others? Didn't I miss a whole bunch here? Oh no, that was when we were welcoming on 13. CoreWeave, there we go. Broadcom and Amazon. I feel like we look at those. Oh no, let me do this one first. Kathy, you've been patiently asking about UCTT, and I have no idea what that is. So let's check the new issue here first, and then we'll go to Broadcom. This is Ultra Clean Holdings. Ultra Clean Holdings shares are trading higher after the company announced the appointment of Michael Koch as the CFO. Okay. This actually had a nice little pullback to the 50-day moving average, a nice bounce, and we have gap filled. Interesting. Okay, so with this news, we're up 8%. We've completed the gap fill. We have the 20-day moving average there at 112. That would absolutely be the next level here. 10.5% of the float shorted, 2.68 days to cover, elevated but not crazy. This, through its subsidiaries, manufactures and supplies production production tools, modules, and subsystems for semiconductor capital equipment industry. Okay, so this is a thing behind the thing for semiconductors. Good mention, Kath. 13, what do you think of this chart? And this bounce, frankly.
Let's see here. Yeah, I was just looking at some of the other metrics of the company. So loss of the 50 yesterday, recapture. Well, we're in the pre-market here. We're recapturing it. So, oh, I'm sorry. Now that candle just showed up. So we had an inside can. I'm sorry. Okay, let me back up here because today's candle just showed up for me on the chart.
It happens. It's okay.
So Tuesday we lost the 50-day SMA, and then yesterday we recaptured it with a bullish engulfing candle. And now, to me, it looks like the next level to surpass is the 20-day SMA, right beneath 113. I think that's what has to happen next. We get a rejection there, we're back to the 50. I think that's probably what I would be looking at. Okay, get rid of the 20. We likely go higher. Underneath, we get rejected at the 20. Come back to the 50.
Okay. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Just to kind of clear this up, Line, I was asking you about Bloom Energy and how you would trade that. You're looking at next week's calls, so 8 days to expiry, the 280s. And at the close there, those were not cheap. Those were 1,200 by 1,400. They're going to be $2K a pop right after that. Okay. So that was UCT. Kathy, good mention here. Good mention here. All right. Broadcom and Amazon were the other two. Broadcom, not part of the Mag 7, but part of the Mag 10. This thing's up 3% here today. This did a great job holding its 200-day. We're testing 400 now. The 50-day is not far, 406.78. So we're actually not far to that. Let me see if there was any news here on Broadcom today.
I think it's just still running on the Apple news.
Yeah, I think you're correct, 13. I don't think there's anything else going on fresh here. Nothing in the short interest. Okay, what do you think of the chart for Broadcom?
Oh, let's see. Sorry, I was just checking on the other Mag 7 because Izzy was asking why they're pounded. And I don't know if I would say that they're pounded. Some are doing okay.
NVIDIA's higher.
Yeah, NVIDIA and Tesla are up slightly. Okay, so Broadcom, the thing that concerned me about Broadcom's price action is just this supply zone back from April and May. That whole supply area that I guess we can say starts at about 405, goes to 440. That whole range there, you see that chunk? That's the whole resistance area that I would be concerned about. If we get through that, we could revisit the highs we made in early June. We also have the 50-day SMA in the way, right at 406.42. I think that would be my concern, is trying to get through that supply zone there from April and May.
Okay, and then if we do continue to move up here, we do have a gap that starts at about 427. That doesn't fill up to 477. So pretty sizable gap there if we're able to actually make that. G-Man here, Broadcom upside option of calls 410 and resistance at 413.33. Downside has strong support at 400 and the 390 puts. Okay. All right, so that was Broadcom. Then Amazon. This is also part of the Mag 7. This one is down 1.48%, but they're not all down. I agree with you, 13. I don't think all the Mag 7 are getting pounded. Let's take a look here at Amazon. This is a little bit weak, but looks like it's trying to hold on to 239 there in the pre-market. Was there news on this? What is this? $130 billion in AI data centers has been blocked or delayed for 2026. That looks like it's affecting Amazon. Let me see I didn't go through this PR, so I beg your pardon for not having this ready.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, this might be what Izzy was referring to, because this here is mentioning that a bunch of the $130 billion in AI data centers are being delayed or straight up refused. And then the article highlights Amazon, Google, ASML, Dell, and Meta.
But not Oracle, and that's up. That's funny. But I get your point, Izzy. I don't think I would consider these pounded. If anything, that the upward price action is delayed. I still think a lot of these data centers are going to get built, maybe just not in the spaces they're getting the pushback from, but elsewhere. Yeah, I don't. And if anything, that probably just is going to create another opportunity for cheaper prices. I don't think I would be that concerned about the 130 billion figure they were talking about there. I still think a lot of these are going to get built.
Me too. And let Amazon come into 230. 233 is where your 200-day moving averages. We have a nice thick sideways area in there. Let it come down a little bit. You might get a bounce from that area.
And then, yesterday, didn't realize we were that close. Sorry.
Neither did I, actually.
Meta just got a deal with Alberta to build a data center. That was part of the PBA trade that we were talking about yesterday in Happy Hour.
Okay.
So VRAX trying to climb back up, trying to hold on to 11. RKTO, this is trying to recapture 115. And RPGL, one of the other movers, that is facing a seller in the way at 244. So this is not really moving that much yet.
S&P 500 pull right out of the open. It actually pulled past the VWAP. But the S&P futures is right at the VWAP. So I would watch this area for a bounce here. As per usual with the zero DTEs, not going to trade in that first 5 minutes of the open. We're going to kind of let it settle out there.
All right, so VRAX.
And lower we go. We broke, VRAX. Sorry, S&P futures broke the VWAP to the downside. Sorry.
And VRAX is ripping again. Looking to get through 12, facing some resistance up there.
Something is odd with my V. I'm going to try refreshing again. Like for whatever reason, my VRAX chart won't update, but all the other ones are. Let me just refresh that. Let me see if that's just a snafu there. Nikhil, I read your "We Are Open" comment as "We Are Cope," and I was like, "What on earth are you talking about?" But then I realized I didn't read it correctly. So.
JLHL, that Chinese name with the low float, that's taken off. So getting pushed around, just make sure you have your stop set because the spread on this is pretty sizable. I'm seeing 30-cent spreads right now, so be careful with this one if you're going to try and trade it. Brax still dealing with getting over 12, running into resistance up at that handle. RKTO still trying to get over 115. Looks like some of the space names are pulling out of the gauge. And Brax going to probably halt down here. They finally had somebody step in and pull it.
And I'm sorry, I've got to make a post here and figure out what's going on. So just give me a sec. I'm sorry that this is taking so long. You can keep going, but I'm just not going to be able to follow you yet.
Jay mentioning that software getting smoked, CRM downgraded, and Starbucks news. I'm going to take a look at CRM. That certainly is feeling the effect of that downgrade. Now testing the 157 handle as support, or it just bounced off that. Let's see what the daily chart looks like on this. I haven't really had a good feeling about Salesforce for a while. They recently just this chart recently just on the daily chart, it just put in a bear flag starting from the end of May, and we just are starting to get that resolved after getting a rejection from the 50-day SMA. I would think this goes lower as a result of that. I would think 140 could be next for CRM. Might take a couple of days or so, but that's where I would think this goes next.
SpaceX pulling back to 150 here.
All right. Now with SpaceX, let me just take a look at something real quick here because I was posting about that yesterday that they are going to be doing a static test fire for their Booster 20 today. Just want to see where they're at. So this seems to have been delayed. They're still going to be testing it, it looks like. But the booster I can see has not rolled to the launch pad yet. So that could be an event to watch for. Booster 20 testing for their next flight, which is flight 13 that is supposed to happen later this month.
Big bounce here in the SPY. So we basically pulled back to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. That was about 745.50. And we are right back up here, 747 now.
Yeah, it looks like there was some news with Starbucks, like Jay said. TAPSI to reduce reliance on Microsoft IBM software. Let's look at Microsoft and IBM. Let's see how they're doing. That is down. Probably also on that data center news. And then IBM, is that down as well? It certainly is. And yeah, IBM is the main headline here is that it's down because of Starbucks's development on AI to use less of IBM and Microsoft's software.
It does look like this is trying to bounce here.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the SPY stopped right at 747.50. That was a key level from earlier this week. We're stopping there again on this big bounce back.
AMD strong today. Why?
Yeah, it is.
Let's look. Still waiting for my 700. Investors return to high growth technology stocks. Goldman Sachs reiterated July 6th. Goldman Sachs reiterated its buy rating and raised its price target forecast to 640. Was it experiencing some downside? Maybe a little bit. We went underneath the 20-day SMA and then we just recaptured it today. We're still, AMD still looks like it's been trading sideways for me. We're leaning on the $500 area support. The resistance is, higher up towards, 550, 560. So we're sideways until we get a change in that. We start moving. If we start to get to 600, then we go higher. But if we come towards the 50-day SMA down around 480. We're going to want to see that hold up.
Buffalo by Bicycle says, I'm late. What I miss? A 2-handle bounce in the SPY. And Kathy, you're mentioning Lamb Research here. That's ticker LRCX. This is up 11%. This is just straight up out of the open here. This thing pulled back recently too.
Yeah, this is coming back. So this got support from its 50-day SMA. Now it's coming up to the 20, where it could face resistance. That 20-day SMA I have at 373 and we'll say 70 cents. But it needs to climb back over this if it's going to go higher.
Mizuho maintained their outperform, took their price target to 400 on this one today.
Okay.
And Liberatus, yeah, I saw the issue with the chart. I just reported that here. I've got them looking at it.
Well, then they're looking at a price target that we literally had when the month opened. I mean, when we started July, the opening price was 404.97. So, yeah, sure, we could see 400. No problem. All right. JLHL. What the hell? This is still climbing. 452 is the high. Looking to the left on a 5-minute chart, we are coming up to some previous highs back from, what was this, Tuesday? Looks like 475 could be a resistance area in JLHL if it continues to climb. Still very spread, kind of narrowed for the moment, but just be careful.
Looks like CoreWeave tried to go higher there, but stopped. It's right near its VWAP, so don't want to write that off just yet. That bounce in the SPY is still going. Boy, that created that 15-minute ES candle looks like a gigantic hammer. And SPY now going through 748. What a bounce. What a bounce. Happened too early to generate a signal for the indicator, though. What a bounce, though.
Movers from this morning, Vrax and Rocket One, they are looking like they could still head lower. They're struggling to regain some of these higher levels that they were putting in earlier. So VWAP is what I would be leaning on for support with these next. We'll see if they get it there. It looks like Rocket One is going to be visiting there sooner than VRAX will. And RPGL has really hasn't done a whole lot except kind of whip around in each direction, visiting the VWAP a couple of times. So this one hasn't really started to get going yet, but it's encouraging that this is kind of still going sideways, because I don't think that this one might be done yet. You could still see a trade out of this one, and it might even trade better if it recaptures VWAP.
Oh, RAP, this moved right out of the open here. Did we have news on RAP here? This is up 33%.
Let's see.
We did. We have a rumor. Watching RAP Technology, shares are trading higher. Traders circulate. The stock is picked by a popular retail trade newsletter. It also had a PR here, the counter drone technology gap that RAP's used in or mentioned in that. And then RAP Technology's position in global safety space strengthened by a recent ATF ruling.
Call Andy. Call Andy. That's all I got to say. Just call Andy. Tell him that Bolo is working. The Bolo rap, the girlfriend capturer, as I think we
Oh gosh, I do remember this now. Oh, now I remember. Oh my heavens.
Yeah, because you remember this product? It fires that I guess we'll call it like a chain that wraps around people's limbs, their feet, their legs, and it trips them up. That's what this is. That's hilarious.
A non-lethal way of like crowd control. Yeah, yes. I do remember our discussion on this. Oh, that's funny. Really quickly here, I do want to share a pro tip with everybody that uses Benzinga Pro. This thing clearly moving right out of the open here, 9:34, 4 minutes after the open, we got a rumor here saying that traders were circulating this newsletter. I choose to highlight the rumor category in Pro purple. So anytime in any news feed I come across one of these rumors that often move stocks, it's just kind of highlighted and sticks out for me. So just know that's one of the ways. It's not even really applying a filter. It's just kind of highlighting rumors, which are definitely catalysts that move stocks here. Makes it very easy to find. Took one quick peek to figure out what was going on there with RAP.
Okay, so this is this company might have some more going for it than that the Bolo Wrap. They might be a big counter drone company. So if you look at the news from the past couple of days, they are getting they're getting exclusive U.S. and NATO distribution rights. So here's one thing that's interesting. Wrap Technologies has secured something its counter-drone competitors cannot buy: the ability to detect drones that have learned to go silent. Through a strategic transaction with Israeli AI sensing company Fresnel Imaging, Wrap has secured exclusive United States and NATO distribution rights to the physics-based imaging technology that detects threats earlier, orchestrates a response, and acts with proportionate, mission-appropriate action. So that's definitely a game-changing element to this company. It's not just trying to trip up people; it's trying to trip up drones.
Okay. This is. I wonder if this is something that Ondas would be interested in, because they do counter drones with like net arresting.
And Jay was just talking about this while I was speaking on it. So yeah, that's really interesting. I think it kind of belongs in the drone watch list. Yeah,
no question it does. No question it does. SPY continuing to push. It actually did pull back a little bit, but now it has set new highs here. SPY just a big move here out of the open. Same with tech.
And I guess that's kind of what we're seeing here, is this a broader lift in the market, and it's lifting everything, including tech.
SpaceX recapturing 150, by the way. I know we talked about that pulling a little bit.
But yeah, so that's really interesting. And the stock also has a significant amount of short interest. This could be a squeeze. You got 17.5% of the float shorted, but the days to cover is quite massive.
Oracle straight up out of the gate. That was a good mention earlier, 13. And let's see if that's possibly recapturing the trend line. I'm going to add it to this one too.
All right, so JLHL almost hit 5. Still putting in a bit of a trade. Just be careful, because this thing is just all over the place. Don't want anybody becoming a bag holder with that one.
No, and 148, by the way, for Oracle looks like a recapture of the trend line that we've been looking at. That's a support trend line. Wrap 220 is your high. It's sitting right at 210, sitting above VWAP still.
Jay, it is pretty tough. I think, aside from maybe laser, I know that there's a couple of South Korean companies that are also working on counter drone technology. I don't know if we can take positions on the U.S. market. There may be either OTC or we'd have to get them through an ETF. But AVAV is also working on counter drone technology. So it's a tough space.
Yeah, it is.
It's a tough space right now.
And that's one of Ondas's specialties, is counter drones, counter UAS drones. And you've seen what they did. They've been adding a whole bunch of different businesses to their stack so they can accomplish that.
JLHL 511.
Someone asked about SoundHound yesterday. This pulled back down to the pre-market lows and bounced there.
Let's take a look at SoundHound. Oh yeah, that really dropped.
Yep.
Let's see what the chart looks like.
Oracle still pushing. Watch 148 on Oracle. AAOX. So I think some of our optics are also kind of coming back into play here today. SPY is still trying to go higher. What a bounce.
Yeah, SoundHound. I think the thing that I was saying about this yesterday is that 20-day SMA. Need to see
what value is that at, 13?
I have that at 672. The past, since last week, basically all of June, we've been hitting this trend line. I'm sorry, this moving average, and there's maybe a day or two where we've closed over it, but every time we do, the next day it's down beneath it. So need to see a consistent close above that, and also I would say we need to see a close above 7. That seems to also be a bit of a resistance level here too with this stock. And now JLHL is finally starting to come back in, and boy is it coming in. That came all the way down to VWAP. We'll see if it holds there. Just hopefully people's got their stops. No, let's do that now. Hopefully people got their stops set for this one, so they weren't getting hit with this selling candle. Oracle on fire, like absolute fire.
Yeah, it's literally straight up.
It was at a pretty cheap price. Low RSI. Just need to see if it can recapture that trend line that we drew. It's been trying to recapture it this all week, and now
I have it at
above
148. I mean, I know it depends on how you draw your line, but I have it at 148. I have it recapturing it right now.
All right. Okay, so VRAX, probably one of the only movers that we looked at, still hanging in there. Rocket 1, this is beneath its VWAP. So now that it has the challenge of trying to get back above that, it may end up losing $1. And if it does, it's going to be a bit of a different animal to trade. So Rocket 1 might be finished for the morning, if not the day. But VRAX is kind of putting in a bit of a trend line here that we could possibly draw, use for a potential breakout. Need to see this recapture 1130 though. Actually, we haven't really got a capture of 1130.
Really quick here. Yeah, Izzy, I'll go to the laser chart here in a sec. Liberatus, you were reporting that your charts weren't updating. The price wasn't updating. It appeared frozen. Go ahead and refresh your platform and let me know if that's been resolved. It looks like it has been resolved on my end here. Let's go to that laser chart since you guys were just kind of talking about this. This did have a nice move out of the open, right back to that 66 handle.
I think VRAX might be coming up to the trend line I was just talking about. It's trying to get over 1130. Volume's still looking pretty good. I think there might be a trade here in VRAX. We'll see what it does. Just need to see that volume continue to expand. Still getting stuffed at 130 though.
Rivian, this is continuing its bounce post the offering. See if that can get back towards 19.
Rocket 1 trying to move away from $1. RPGL, still nothing out of this one. It compressed and then it started trading lower. So yeah, not sure we're going to see a lot out of this one at the moment.
You guys are saying laser is continuing to go here. Still right at the 66 level.
Let's see what this looks like on a chart. When did it change their name to Endlight Inc? I thought it was something else.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I think I wonder if I'm confusing it with another ticker, but I know what you're talking. I know what you're referencing.
We might have been confusing with LAZR, but I feel like this was something else. Anyway, that's interesting. You got the 50-day SMA right there at 70. I think that's the level we need to snap if we're going to go higher. We get through. Let's see. There's like is it every 5? Nah. Maybe every $10. It seems like there's some kind of support and resistance. So 70 is probably going to be the next resistance area. We get up there today, we could see a reversal. All right, I think we're still going to get that move here with VRAX. At least I think it just kind of looks that way. It looks like it wants to break higher. It's still trading over 1130 for the moment, and it's got to watch for this move over. That's going to take us over 1240. Need to see that volume. Nike, says that Edwards. LASR, yeah, we just looked at that. What's going on with Nike?
I think he's just looking for his cue to just sell it.
Oh. Well.
42 would be your downside level there.
Yeah, it's still struggling with those 20 and 50-day SMAs. I think I'm still just keeping an eye on VRAX. It looks like it wants to push higher.
Yeah, it does.
Any news on FBRX? We hit the trend line in VRAX. Let's look at FBRX while we wait. So this thing just had a move through the, and this also looks like it's resolving a bit of a head and shoulders, or an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So this is blowing past its 200-day SMA, and it's looks like there's a resistance area around 30. Let's see if there is news on this.
There is. Forte Biosciences reports results from its FB 102 double-blind placebo-controlled phase 1B study in vitiligo.
Isn't that vitiligo like the skin discoloration?
Probably. I'm getting absolutely murdered by some of these medical words here today.
Let's see if that's what that is. I might be thinking of something completely wrong, and it's just closely spelled that way. Let's see. Yeah, I think that might be it. We'll see. I would need to spend some more time digging into this, but that's
I'm having AI break down the PR here for us. Just that much medical and statistical stuff. I want to have the AI do it for us. This is a huge move, though. 41%, Kath.
Yeah.
So this is okay. So here's some of the things. So how good is the efficacy signal? It's a 30% mean improvement versus 8% against placebo. So that looks really good. It's stronger in severe patients. You actually see more of an improvement versus placebo. They're solid, but they're not best in class.
Okay.
See, this is why the AI stuff is helpful, because this is not something that I follow at all, and this really breaks this down. Think of it as a credible, clear efficacy plus clean safety readout on its phase 1B trial.
JLHL halted to the downside. This is the thing I was cautioning about all morning with this. So hopefully you had your stops get you out of this before it dropped down to where it is now. Also with let's see, Vrax, we hit the trend line, still trying to get up to and through 1240. Looks like volume's starting to wane a bit, but still keeping an eye on it. RKTO, this is trying to recover. It's working its way through VWAP right now. That would be the resistance, I would imagine, could pull this thing lower if we can't get back above that. RPLG, still nothing.
Really quick, just to kind of finish up here on FBRX, this is really good. So I like this a lot. So the bottom line here, the quality of the data that they PR'd here today, it's solid for phase 1B. So compared to other phase 1B results, it's considered solid, not great. Its signal strength here is real, but kind of moderate. And its risk level is still high with this being an early stage biotech. So I actually had to try to break this down into some easy numbers for us. The scientific credibility of the news that they released here today, 7.5 of 10. That's good. The commercial potential, if it is confirmed, 8.5. That's even better. But its current de-risking is still 4 of 10. So there's a lot of execution risk on this. And Libertas, if you're out there, let me know if your charts are updating correctly with the price. Mine look to be good now.
And there's VRAX halted to the upside.
So you did get your break, huh? Yep, sure did. 1262 is your halt. The time on this halt, 9:54:39. It's the second halt of the day. We would expect that to unhalt there at 9:59:39, just shy of 10 a.m.
We are getting other news here. Todd mentioning that Open Door is breaking upwards. Golden Brown is saying UNH is on the move, and Izzy is saying Amazon. Wow. Look at Amazon, see what this wow is about.
Yeah, it's just basically coming back to its pre-market price before it dropped. It's recovering its move down.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So there's that, UNH. And then you're pulling up, are you going to pull up Open, or which one do you want to look at?
I'll pull up whatever you want. I wanted to address Zach's question here,
okay.
or statement. I guess it's not really a question. Zach's here saying, Ryan, you could have an AI agent always at hand to do all of the news breakdowns. And in fact, that's what I'm doing. It's one of the reasons why I added it to Movers. I do this a lot on the side. And when 13's schedule changes here, we're going to be doing this more often as a group here. So we're actually going to be going through the workflow of doing this. I'll share my prompts with you. I'm probably going to pre-develop some prompts and have them on hand just to make the process even quicker on that. But Zach, I would look forward to doing some more of this here. And 13, I guess this is a kind of a good reminder here. Let's just remind the group, starting in August, 13's schedule is going to change here. Still going to join us, but it's going to be a little bit later. We're not exactly sure on the times until he does that. Please understand he has absolutely earned the right to spend more time with his family that's grown up here. So
thank you. And looking at UNH, this has been getting some news over the past couple of days about rising rates. And now we have the company launching a new spending account benefit. I would have to throw this into AI, I guess, but this is apparently going to put more choice in the hands of consumers. I don't know if I really believe that, but that's what's driving this up here this morning, giving it a nice $5 plus move.
Wow. I'm seeing MU calls get bought here. So Micron, that was stretched. Too bad Lion went to go take a nap because his long here is working. We talked about 1046 being a key level for this to close above. We'll see if it's done doing that. So far, so good. And now we're seeing call flow on the back of it. Call flow for Iron 2, by the way. This is the December 70s. I know we were talking about that earlier this week. Iron, call, 70 calls getting bought into this pullback. Sorry, 13.
Barb and Electric got out of VRAX before the halt at 1240. It halted at 1262. Well done.
Well done indeed. Well done indeed. V-Tree says, how do I join your subscriber group? I don't know what you mean by that. You could, I believe you could subscribe to the YouTube channel here. It doesn't really do a whole lot for you in terms of its benefits. The real subscriber group would be joining Benzinga Pro. That's the tool that we use here. There's incorporated chat rooms, audio squawks, scanners, the whole 9 yards. We also run a market wrap-up show called Happy Hour, Monday through Thursday. That's only available to Pro members. Pro's good now. Appreciate it, Ryan. Good. Yeah, looks like it just had a little snafu with the data feed there, but that's been fixed. So we're good. Let me actually mention that the client is reporting that as well.
Wes, you think there's more? Oh, wait, you're talking about VTAC. You're going to load VTAC. You think it's going to follow VRAX. Gotcha. And Shaz just received a $125 price target with U.S. data center delays that can be at play as they focus mostly on Australia, Southeast Asia, India. So is this like a data center play outside of the U.S.? Let's see here. Sharon AI.
What's the ticker?
SHAZ. Shaz.
Shaz. You said that. I didn't know what you meant when you said that, but now it makes a lot of sense.
So B. Riley thinks it's worth 124. That's the news today. That's helping drive this. Okay, here. Services include Sovereign AI Australia, GPU as a service, Sharon AI.
Sorry to interrupt. VRAX is open. Yep. Initial move higher.
Yep, popped up to 1315, trying to hold above the 1240. Maybe this, I don't have levels that I set up for VRAX because, frankly, I didn't know we would go this high. But maybe 16 is a potential level that this could run to, since when looking at a daily chart, that's one level that stands out. I really don't know where the party ends for VRAX. It's hit all the levels that I had. So we'll just say 16 maybe.
And then really quickly, Corey, this is a good question. And for anyone else that might be interested, especially if you're using AI tools to help build financial apps. Corey's question here, Ryan, do you know if Benzinga charges extra for API connections? I'm building my own AI financial tool, and I'd love to connect it to Benzinga's APIs. Yes. They are extra. So an API does not come with your Pro subscription. There are definitely ways to bundle that together. I'd be more than happy to put you in contact with somebody about that from our licensing division. We have APIs for all different kinds of financial information, and you can pick and choose which APIs make sense for your use case as well. So I'll just say this as kind of a general thing. If anyone is interested in Benzinga's market data, which we are one of the leaders in selling, we do have an API division. Actually, the leader of that division, Andrew, has joined our show several times before. So yes, we absolutely can do that. If you need any help with that, you can reach out to me. I will make sure I put you in contact with the right person. Absolutely. And in fact, I'll give you an email here. I'll just drop it in the chat. It is licensing@benzinga.com. They should be able to answer any of your questions. But again, if you need me to facilitate a warm intro, I'm happy to do so.
My thought on U.S. stablecoin, I'll just make it really simple because beyond what it is, I want to see what's going to happen with this Clarity Act. My thoughts are limited to what goes on, how that gets the legislative process for this. The thought is that it's going to try to get pushed through before the August recess. There's a lot of speculation that it's probably not going to. I'm leaning on the side that it might not. And if it doesn't, then it's probably going to get pushed out to 2027. There's the National Defense Authorization Act that is still getting more attention than that right now. And then, of course, you also have Mitch McConnell, who's been absent from Congress for, I think, medical reasons. So I'm my opinion is really just limited to whether or not the Clarity Act gets pushed through or not.
VRAX halted to the downside, 1144 after that pull. 13, shout out to you for mentioning that, hey, on some of these big movers, especially VRAX, have stops ready so that you don't get pounded. We've already seen that here, so good mention.
Yeah, that's pretty textbook reversal there. You get this pop up, almost an abandoned baby reversal, and then now it's back down at the 1130. Well, it's at 1144, but 1130 is the support area that I have next.
Weekend at Mitch's. Oh, Joe, that's actually funny. Marcus, good morning. It's great to see you.
Yep. Good morning, Marcus. And yes, SDOT back in the mix. I mentioned that earlier this morning. I'm not taking a position in that. That thing, can make or break you. I don't know that we're going to see that big move that it made earlier. I think it was last month. That was just a wild move. Oh wow, it's laser. What a print to go up to $69 even.
On laser.
LASR, yep.
LASR, got it. And then Marcus. Just as kind of a reminder here, I did a podcast with Marcus. I'll share the link here. Marcus, you've sent me a bunch of links. I don't know which one is the correct one. If you could just send me another email here, I would share it with the group here today.
Yeah, Dara, some of these names they come up with, they make sense. And other times it's like, why would you call it that? But essentially it's, you have, it's a 3-candle formation, and the second candle is generally a doji that has, it's a result of a gap up followed by a gap down.
And then Daniel saying, for what it's worth, Drift and the Guest, the first contract, gave glowing recommendations for Benzinga. That's worth quite a bit. Adam Mesh and Tom Sosnov are industry experts without a doubt, and to get their blessing is great. Again, our mission here is to try and create trading tools that benefit everybody. Adam and Tom are at the top echelon of traders. They have been for a long time. They've got very distinguished careers, so that's worth a lot. That's absolutely worth a lot.
Oh no, Lizzie, we listened. We listened.
We looked at it like 3 or 4 times.
We listened. We were not trying to shut you down whatsoever. Though I will say right now, I'm a little bit concerned about the price action it's had over the past 10 minutes or so. Not liking these upper shadows here. We'll see if this current candle nullifies that concern. But if we do get another reversal looking candle here, I think that we may see the price come back in a bit. So something that I'll be watching for here. It's got to get past 69 and hold.
Rivian on its way back to 19. Looks like we might have an 18 test coming here. I actually didn't see any unusual options yet on Rivian, but I haven't been looking all that closely. Meanwhile, I'm seeing Tesla call sweeps as Tesla, huge reversal here today. That was big pull out of the open, big reversal right back to the pre-market highs. Watch Tesla on a possible 400 cross.
RPGL might finally be getting going here. The volume is not great, but it's trying to go for some higher prices and make its way back towards VWAP. VWAP currently I have it at 250. So just something to keep an eye on here. I would like to see better volume in this, but it is trying to make a move. So I'm just keeping an eye on it.
And then Chris here saying NVIDIA falling with the 201, 206 support area. Let me take a look here at NVIDIA. Seeing calls get bought into this as well. Boy, NVIDIA really gave up that pre-market strength. Things changed quickly here. So I'm thinking 200.
There's apparently an exclusive here. And it's regarding NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Palantir.
Good watch on Soon, Liz. We talked about 250 being key there. Soon looks like it's coming right up to that. Let's see if it breaks this 250 area on Soon.
Yep. Hopefully we get a test of that trend line soon.
I see what you did there. Here, let me actually redraw that here real quick.
And it looks like we are.
Here it comes.
Oh, I just need to sprinkle a little bit of that 13 humor on there. We'll get what we want, won't we?
I love it. I love it. Nice little good mention there. Nice little scalp. That's at least good. Put some green on the screen there early. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Well, here we go. All that bearishness that it was starting to look like with LASR just completely nullified, and it is ripping now. So it's coming up to some resistance. It looked like it was maybe topping out around 68. Couldn't get a candle to close over that, but now we're ripping.
All right. For anyone that was interested, several of you asked Marcus. I really appreciate it. Here is part 1 of the podcast that I shot with him. For anyone that is interested, that Soon was good. That Soon was real good. Whisk, great timely mention. I put it on the radar. I stopped looking at it. I got distracted with a bunch of other stuff. Big time mention there, bringing it back. Little scalp, but at least we've got green on the screen early here. I'll take it.
Yeah,
absolutely, we'll take that.
RKTO did have a 3 candle recovery, but it's rolling back over again. I don't think this is really a good one here. You can keep it on your radar. Maybe it trades better later on, but this hasn't really provided too much of in terms of trading compared to Vrax and now Soon and some of the other ones we've looked at here today, the LASR. We'll see if RPGL continues to improve. It just had another test of its VWAP, so we might be starting to see volume expand again. I would keep RPGL on your radar. It's got a low float, so this could get pushed around here still, but it's just not happening at the moment. Not a bad morning. Much better than yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say it is definitely better than yesterday. And you're right here about this RPGL setup. Maybe we get another move to that VWAP.
Thoughts on FCell? And then Jordan also mentioned Hertz. We'll take a look at FCell here and see what's going on with that.
Real quick, I'm going to Picasa. Here is Apple. You're asking if this is turning here. Here's what the Apple chart looks like. I would say we're not turning. I would say we're doing our best to hold here. But really, until we break this downtrend, I don't know that we're really turning around yet. I'm going to try and be as conservative as I can there. I'd be watching for this break. So level to watch there, 312.
So fuel cell energy.
FCell, got it?
Yeah, is one of those names that I remember back from trading this in 2020. When I think this had like it had some big moves because it was all part of that battery and EV and transformative technology trade that we were seeing in the 2020s.
Soon 277. Soon big move. Sorry, 13. Wow. Congrats to anyone that was in Soon.
Through the trend line, looking for 285.
Through it, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. So this. Okay. So here we go. Late 2020 to early 2021. This is one of the ones, FCell, that went on a run, has not been back up there since. That it's since then it still continues to lose money. So I think for me the big issue I have with this is that when is this going to see profitability? Loses tens of millions, but I think this is more of just one of those theme trades. Volume has been improving since May, so there could be some some more upside here, and if that's the case, I want to see it get back above 40. Wow, what a big pull there on Soon. and it went to, let's see, what was the high that went to? 283. Oh wow, it almost went to our after hours high from yesterday.
Almost.
That was the trade. That was the trade. It went up there, and that's it.
Indeed it was. And now that it's pulling back here, let's see what it does with the back test of the trend line, because very clearly that was providing resistance on the way up. So we'll see.
And it's at VWAP as well, trend line and VWAP. So this is an area that's going to have to hold if we're going to see some more upside. Great trade. Anybody that took that one.
That's so right there is a really good example. We were talking about how that, the show and how you guys like it and all of that. That is a perfect example. My attention drifted and y'all brought me right back to it. And then multiple folks here were able to trade that for a gain. That's what we're trying to do. It doesn't matter if the gain is, $50 or $5,000. That's what we're trying to do here and repeat that process every single day. Good stuff for the group here. Yeah. Another register ring just for the hell of it.
All right, keep an eye on VRAX. It's still holding the 15 EMA. It's trying to pull itself back above 1130. Hasn't necessarily, broken down yet. It's been more trading, sideways. So if it continues to do that, we may still see some higher prints.
Captain Cloudy said loaded puts. Did you load puts on the SPY? I do see the market rolling over. S&P futures trading right back down to VWAP. We'll see if they hold that. SPY did go through the VWAP to the downside. Let me know on that. And then wrap here. This actually broke the highs there at 220.
Okay, so SPY ran into resistance, in the 749 handle. There's a previous all-time high of 749.53 that I view as resistance. Also looks like there's a bit of a consolidation area from Tuesday, I think, going into the after hours. Pretty much from the afternoon going into the after hours. That might also be providing some resistance. You see that from about about noon on Tuesday until about 2 p.m. And then we just kind of dropped. I think that consolidation area there is also providing a resistance. VRAX down to 10. Sorry, go ahead.
Were you talking about the SPY on that? Or?
Yeah, I was talking about the SPY.
Yeah, and I've got that here on the screen. Yep.
Yeah, so that little area there, I think we were getting some resistance from all that consolidation.
SPY trying to recapture its VWAP right now, and the S&P futures S&P futures chart actually looks like it's bouncing off the VWAP from the spots.
Yeah, VRAX still sideways, even though it's lower. Still looks like we may end up getting a test of the VWAP. It's getting support from that $10 level, though.
Lion says back after a short nap. Lion, how on earth did you have the time to fall asleep and wake up already?
It's called
like you just closed your eyes.
It's called a cat nap, and that's what lions do all the time.
Okay, that's stupid of me to even ask. That's a really good answer. Really good answer. I'm not going to lie.
LASR higher now in the 72 handle. Soon underneath VWAP.
LASR, that was a good mention here from multiple folks in our group here. Pepsi, this reported earnings. This actually down to the low that it held on Tuesday at the last day of June. We talked about this being a potential customer-facing trade, maybe a World Cup trade. This is looking bad, though. 52 5-year lows. I mean, not really, Lion. Pepsi was lower than this in 2025.
It provided guidance for their fiscal year EPS, adjusted EPS, and their sales. Both the range for both of them fell short of the midpoint fell short of the estimate. So I think that's another reason why this is lower, in addition to the mixed earnings report and them saying that beverage and food demand is down because of tight consumer budgets, which we all know that's from inflation and high gas prices.
I saw Jay made a comment very early here on Pepsi that the Frito-Lay chip bags continue to get smaller and smaller. Jay, you know what I'm going to say to that. They don't have to get smaller if you go to Costco. I'm just going to throw that one out there. You can still get the big bag at Costco. Big reversal here on SPY. You guys are right about that. Awesome. I didn't short that one, but anyone that took a short on that, Captain Cloudy here up 180%. That's a really good buy, man. Really good buy. Look at this reversal here.
JLHL is back. It's still doing Chinese junker names things, but it's because it's got a pretty low float. Maybe this gets pushed higher beyond 5. Maybe we just grip right back beneath the VWAP. I can't say, but just be careful if you trade this one. That's all I will say about it. It looks like Soon is just giving everything back. That popped at 283 was probably it for the moment.
And Jay, no, I understand what you're saying, that the same amount of chips costs more now. I'm not disputing that. I'm just more or less having fun that you can still get a bigger bag of chips. Don't even waste your time with those small ones.
Yeah, but people on Ozempic will still pay for that.
Why have we not heard the bird recently? I put the bird in another room every day, but that must mean that you guys have heard it just because it was going crazy. Maybe you can't hear it over the air conditioner because it's hotter than heck in Chicago. Maybe, I don't know. Bird's doing good. Took a bath this morning before we went live here. It was actually kind of amusing.
There seems to be a broader pull happening here. I'm seeing a lot of names like all getting pulled at the same time. Meanwhile, JLHL did print a slightly higher and then came right back in. Let me look at the SPY.
So this is just kind of an interesting aside. I don't know that there's necessarily trading information on here, but just because we're talking about PepsiCo and chips, my producer said I was at Kroger over the weekend and they had an insane deal. If you bought 2 bags of large chips, you ended up getting 3 for free. It came down to 5 big bags of chips for $10. Doritos, Lay's, Sun Chips, the chips that you guys know. That's interesting.
Yeah, SPY just had a pretty big drop suddenly.
Yeah,
it was like staircasing down, but then it just really dropped. So that's one of the.
I've had it on screen here. It's free fall, as called out by Captain Cloudy.
Yeah, right down to like the 746 area where it's been getting support for all pre-market.
I was just going to say 13. We are coming into a bounce spot here. So let me know if you guys think, and actually I'm going to queue up the 0 DTEs here, see if we get a signal on this.
LASR 74 high. Yeah,
Tess, I was nervous about that too. It's too early to put the chip. That's the problem with me. Like I do all this, working out and I'm trying to eat cleaner and everything, but my weakness is chips. Now you've got me thinking about Doritos and Lay's and Sun Chips, and I'm like dying over here. Tess, you're not alone. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Jay, I was going to say like that's the Ozempic size. That's your GLP-1 size now. But I agree. I think the fat drugs are also hurting snacking companies. But it's other stuff that they have in their repertoire that's going to keep them in business, I think. And I don't think this is, just because we have the fat drugs, it's going to necessarily mean the end of these companies either.
SPY breaking 746. It's still testing that, but it's, I don't know.
Yeah, Rock 2. I'm just going to say it's Rock 2. It's Rocket 1. That's down to the 65 EMA, still trying to get support from that. Soon trying to reverse. JLHL pulled back down to the VWAP.
And then real quick here, MTK saying the Seat avocado oil chips are great. So I get the Boulder Canyon brand from Costco, the ones that are cooked in avocado oil. They are spectacular. And they also make a plain chip cooked in beef tallow. That's unbelievably good. Unbelievably good, dude.
Yeah, VRAX might be turning around here. It's something to watch for. 1130 is the next resistance. SPY coming down, kind of filling the the overnight gap up that we had.
Soon also might be bouncing from the 240 area. NVIDIA, how we do? Oh my gosh, NVIDIA continues to leak here. You know, tech's, I know we've been focusing a lot on the SPY here, but tech's leaking too. Wow.
JLHL halted to the downside. Rock 2 trying to get back above $1, just lost it.
This is Captain Cloudy. I appreciate this strategy discussion like this. I love, Ryan. Whenever I see a quick move at the open, it's a warning sign for me that we could reverse hard. And when we get the reversal, it usually lasts a couple of hours. Let me tell you something, Captain Cloudy. That's a great pattern recognition. I kind of been feeling the same thing. Didn't we do this yesterday on SPY? We popped up a little and then we ended up getting pounded. And as you said, it lasted for hours. Yeah, we were higher in the pre-market. We popped out of the open. Then we reversed. We held 740. This process took a couple of hours. The caveat is that we bounced yesterday. I don't know that we do that here today. Soon round 2. Watch for that move through 250 again. That's what triggered it last time.
Laser LASR trying to not put in a red candle. What's going to happen here with VREX? Are we going to see this reversal happen? Or are we going to get rejected by the 9 EMA?
You're welcome, Judge. Thank you for all your support and positive energy, man. We need more of that.
Take care, Judge.
746. Maybe this is holding here. Maybe SPY is trying to bounce here. I don't have a signal yet. I don't have a buy signal yet off the indicator.
Rock 2 trying to hold that 65 EMA. Looks like VRAX is still having a hard time with that 9 EMA. What's looking interesting besides LASR? Because that might finally be putting in its first red candle of the session.
Let me go to that. I know you guys are on that here a lot. Yeah, EIX was good, Lion. I made the mistake of trying to trade that with calls, and I just didn't give it. I think I gave it like 6 months too, and I'm not sure I even gave it enough time on that. Buying the stock and having a longer term approach, that was the move. And 13, that was probably one of that and the ATVI calls were probably two of the best in terms of timing, accuracy, and tradability. It's just absolutely phenomenal.
And I was taking that trade too with EIX. I was getting it. I don't remember the exact price. It was in the low to mid 50s. But when we got up to 75, 76 in February, I took my gains there. Haven't gone back into it. It looks like it could still try and move higher to 80 at this stage now.
Oh my God, that SPY bounced. I took it off the screen here to look at laser again, and look what SPY did. I still didn't get a trigger on that though, because I think it's too far from the VWAP.
Yeah, that might still be going down.
I would watch what happens here at VWAP 747.50. Ryan's G-Man, you've been on this, dude. SPY reacted exactly at 745.80. We were talking about that level being 746, but 745.80 is the exact level there. Palo Alto CEO, which we talked about as being the best insider trade of the year, says, quote, demand for AI consumption is infinite. Palo Alto up 3.6%.
Soon is trying to hold above VWAP. It's trying to break that trend line again. It briefly went over it in this current candle, but it's still trying to struggle to push higher into the 260 area.
It's right at that trend line. Boy, Wiss, that you were right again on round 2 there. I know it's not a huge move, but the call was still really good.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about how much higher it's going to go because I see all these sellers in the way and the volume isn't looking too great. And that's not to say we couldn't just see a sudden spike come in and the volume and just take all that out, but it's looking pretty tough for the upside here with all these sellers in the way. JLHL is open and trying to get back above VWAP again. Rock 2 is facing the seller in the way just above $1. RPGL sell sideways again. What's that?
I was going to say, which ticker was that was just above $1? Did you say?
That was RKTO.
RKTO. Thank you.
Trying to turn around and recapture some levels here. It looks like it's trying to get back up to 506.
RAP might be going for those highs too. Yeah, guys, I don't have any answers on the ads. I know that producers looking into that. I don't ever touch that. I'm not sure what to tell you on that. I don't think I'll have an answer for you.
Looks like some of these space and quantum and maybe even some of the drone and battery names are starting to show some signs of turnaround here.
Oh, SPY, that bounced. Dude, that went through the VWAP again. And the SPY is all over the place here. I'll tell you what, the indicator has worked really, really well recently. It had one good entry here today. It missed the bottom of these pulls down to 746. And I think that first one was because it was out of the time frame. But man, oh man, SPY's all over the place.
Yeah, and we still could be sideways for the rest of the week. I mean, I think the market's generally just waiting for the earnings season next week.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, 13. And I think it's just going to keep compressing into the downtrend line that we have from the highs, as well as the 740 flat line. Makes a nice little triangle. And I think we're just kind of compressing into that until earnings. I think you might be right on that.
All right, so we might be getting a move here with VRAX, seeing that we got support from that low 10s. See if it can climb back up to 11. Crank it up to 11.
Turn it up to 11. That's how we're going to end it here. Any other closing words for the group that are not a Spinal Tap reference?
Well, I think the big exciting thing that's happening today is the World Cup game. So we will be watching that later on today. And we can come back here tomorrow and talk all about that and all the great trades that you folks made here for the rest of the day. But until then, folks, have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy the game, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.
Okay, 13, that sounds awesome. Really good stuff here today. We're going to close the week out strong tomorrow. That's for sure. We're going to bring 13 back. I'm just going to finish on this because this is awesome. Clayton saying, great radio voice with Hollywood looks. You must be referring to me, Clayton. Appreciate you. Folks, stay green, stay safe, stay focused. Have a great rest of your day. We'll get the ads fixed for tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We'll see you. Take care.